Welcome to America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Good to have you with us here at South Ozone Park, New York. As we get set for race 5, we're approaching the 14-minute mark to post. We also have live coverage from Hot Springs, Arkansas, Richie Migliori, Megan Burgess. As we look ahead to the return later today on this card of runner-up in the Jim Dandy de Forte Saudi Crown, that controversial race on that wet track from a few years ago. Grade 1 winner after that.
He may be 6, but he scared away 6 of the 10 horses that were entering the race, or 6 of the 9 to run against him. He looks like he'll be tough to beat, as he is the main speed from the inside, but it's nice to be back. Nice to be back here this week. Nice to be with you, Greg, and looking forward to talking about today's races with Maggie, Richie, and Meg as well.
Greg Wolf, Andy Serling, in case you didn't know, good to be with you. And we'll get out to our crew in Hot Springs, momentarily. 3 minutes away from race 4 on their card. Look here in New York, and we have a sloppy racetrack. Here's what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. Aqueduct races 5 through 7. Oaklawn races 4 through 9 with the return of Saudi Crown. Turf Paradise bonus coverage with fast and firm conditions out in the desert. Races 5 and 6, and we will take a look at a little preview of that Tampa Bay Derby coming up over the weekend. So a lot packed in to this 3-hour program today here on Fox Sports 2. Here's how you can play it all. Get signed up at Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. The offer for new members, there it is. $200 deposit match, new customer bonus, and sign up when you punch that in. Match 200, and you're ready to roll right there at NairaBets.com. Post time coming up for the 4th at Oaklawn. Starts off the Classics Pick 6, $30,000 maiden claiming sprint at 6 furlongs as we head to Mig and Megan. How you two?
Hey, thanks, Greg. Yeah, and we're getting ready to jump right into the action. Megan, less than 2 minutes to post now for race 4. We got maiden $30,000 claimers going 6 furlongs, and I think you and I were kind of all around each other here. I wound up on the 3 Palmer Beach. I thought the 2 was interesting, but you like the favorite from the outside, who was very good on debut.
Was, and we also have a $53,000 carryover to kickstart this dollar at Classics Pick 6 sequence starting here, of course, in race number 4. So it's a tough sequence. Obviously, as Andy had mentioned, our ratings handicap was scratched down to just 4 horses, but still makes it a pretty difficult one. Richie, I thought this was an absolutely stellar Thursday card, and as for this race, I am going with that outsider in the number 11, Mr. Goodtime, who dueled on the front end and did a lot of good things on debut, and now coming at it for a second try for Chris Hartman.
And the outside post, even though he had good speed on debut, kind of gives him the luxury of getting into the race the right way. If somebody's on a mission, give that horse a little bit of an opportunity to stalk if he'd like. He is 6-5 here. I thought the 2 horse, a Wild Posse, had one of those kind of herky-jerky trips, right? Kind of rushed up, steadied, came on again. I thought he actually is a little bit sneaky at 9-1, but the 11, Mr. Goodtime, we'll take a look at him on debut. He was a part of a pretty sharp early pace.
He was. A little trick came out of that race to be a part of a suicidal pace in his next start, but Mr. Goodtime here, so we'll take a look. He also contended with a far outside draw on debut, which is not an easy thing. You'll see him there in the stretch. He does almost get control. He has a bit of an advantage over Little Trick, who unfortunately gets the better of him on that occasion, but I like to see first-time starters show speed. He did so on a sealed track. It was technically fast that day, but there was a lot of moisture coming down. It was the most amount of rain we'd had this entire meet. But he did a lot of things right, and I think that he's found the right spot coming back for the second try. A lot of others have experience, but he just really showed a lot in a one debut, and especially for these kinds, these lower level claimers. I just really liked what I saw, and I like him physically as well.
Is there any concern that track was sealed? And it's labeled as fast in the racing form, but it does say fast and sealed, but doesn't it feel like it might be a touch misleading?
I do think it's misleading there. I don't think that was a fast track whatsoever that day. Earlier on in the card, it was transitioned to muddy. We got a lot of rain, kind of opened up on us that day. I remember it vividly. Valentine's Day here. Probably the wettest day we have seen thus far at the meet, Mig.
Yeah, now the 2 horse I was talking about, Wild Posse, I thought he had an impossible trip, but he showed run. Now he gets Lasix, he drops in for the $30,000 level, albeit he was running against Oklahoma bred first time, so that might be more of a lateral move, but I really thought that he had an impossible trip and actually showed some run.
He comes off of the bench as well. And Ray Ashford Jr., first after that kind of 100, 150 layoff, he's 2 for 10 past 5 years. So he gets his maiden Maiden's right. I think his horses have looked great coming off of the freshening, and I'd agree at a price, he's a bargain here.
And the 3, Palmer Beach, I think he's very much a contender. Surprised he's 7-1. I thought he'd be shorter than that.
I think a lot of the attention is going to the outsider, but in these kinds of races, a lot can happen and horses can improve.
No doubt, and we've got a lot of horses making their second start. We'll see who takes a step forward, but let's send it upstairs to Matt Dinneman for the call of race 4.
Field study about to load in. Just a few more to come up here. Social Climber. And to the outside, Mr. Good Time. Mr. Good Time about to load in. He's currently even money on the board. We're ready to go for the start of the $1 Class 6. And they're off. Ducking inwards at the break was Shooter McGavin right when they came out of the chute. Palmer Beach has speed. Mr. Good Time on the lead. He's clearly ahead. Palmer Beach shown rain to get up there. And Gray Star in between that pair down the back stretch. Wilburton right behind them in 4th. A Wild Posse to the inside racing on the fence. Jackie Paper in the purple. He's 5 off the lead with a half mile to go as they sorted themselves out on the front end. Social Climber is next in the group. Thames and Field Study, they're together. 7 ahead of Mike's Trump Card and Shooter McGavin well behind as they round the far turn. Palmer Beach at 7-2 leads the charge. A length and a tail ahead. Mr. Good Time right behind him chasing second. Wilburton off the rail is joining Mr. Good Time approaching the quarter pole. They've streaked 4 ahead of Gray Star, who's retreated to that 4th spot. They're off the turn. Palmer Beach down the lane. Mr. Good Time chasing hard on the outside. Palmer Beach switches leads. Mr. Good Time leveling off though, runs by him. Mr. Good Time furlong to go. Clear on the lead now. Palmer Beach second. Wilburton on the wrong lead, just trying to hold on for 3rd at this point with a 16th to go. It's the second time starter, Mr. Good Time, having fun here in the sun at Oaklawn. Mr. Good Time, David Cabrera, Chris Hartman, 2 wins today. Palmer Beach second, Social Climber 3rd, and then came Wilburton.
And it was the favorite, number 11, Mr. Good Time. Flashed good speed again, but that outside draw allowed him to stalk for a while of the pace set by Palmer Beach. He was just too good.
He was. I thought there for a moment early on in the stretch run that maybe he would stall a little bit. Maybe the 9 or the 3 could catch him, but managed to pull away nicely. Heavier made horse, and I think that this horse definitely found the right group for his second start.
Well, chalk reigned supreme in our first race here from Oaklawn. Let's head back to the desk in New York, guys.
Megan, thank you. We have race 5 coming up here in New York, and 7 furlongs, $20,000 maiden claiming group. Starts the pick 4. Cathedral Isle has the 2-time running Eclipse Award winning rider, Flavian Pratt, for the Dutrow Junior Barn. And a big drop.
We have seen a parade of short-priced horses winning on today's card, and we're probably about to see the 5th short-priced horse win, Cathedral Isle. I mean, I think that the 4, Sylvain, is an impossible off the Linda claim, but that horse was a no-excuse 3rd as a heavy favorite in a bad field, and I thought Cathedral Isle was a very likely winner, dropping on the outside for Rick Dutrow. And like Meg, who I know if Meg landed on the favorite at Oaklawn, because she's always looking to be creative, and if there was really nowhere else to go, I'm with her in the same situation here. I'm not trying to beat Cathedral Isle.
Well, let's see how they look as we head downstairs and check in for the first time on the program with Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg, and we'll take a look at that heavy favorite here on the outside, Cathedral Isle, whom we haven't seen since a 2-year-old. She is now a 3-year-old and hasn't run since just after Christmas of last year. She is a good size type, especially relative to this field. She comes back at the 7 furlongs, which I do like. She's got a little bit more size, a little bit more scope to her, so an out-and-out 6 furlongs might be a little bit sharp for her, and that way now, she can display that speed that we did see from her in that last 2 starts, I should say, going 7 and a mile. Fit, relaxed here, has that cushy outside post, and she looks ready to possibly dominate here on this occasion. Now, a second-time starter that does take that precipitous drop is number 5, Combatant Song. Does come back here with a quick gate breeze coming into this race for Greg Sacco after getting away slowly. First time out, adds those short cup cheater blinkers. Does come in looking incredibly incredibly fit. And two, just getting a little bit more ground to work with, I think should be to this filly's liking. She's a little bit more of a longer, leaner type, and she is fairly aggressive here in the paddock. She's been tucking at her groom, so look for her to break better this time around. We'll see if that has any bearing, though, on the outcome. Craig?
Yeah, that one a little interesting. Equipment change today, blinkers on, and a bullet gate drill. You assume with the blinkers, we don't know, February 27th, and a drop in class.
Yeah, I had kind of dismissed this horse, but Maggie had some good things to say, and you were talking to me off camera about this horse, and I thought you made some good points. I don't like the fact this horse took zero money first time out, but it was much better horses. And to be fair, this horse was outside against a good rail, so did have a bit of an excuse that day. So you could do worse. Because, listen, I have no problem, especially if you like the 8, thinking the 4 doesn't have to be second, because the 4's last race was bad.
3-5 now on the favorite, who we'll get to. We start with Fiona's Joy, who's 0 for 2 so far.
This would certainly shake things up.
79-1 last start. 32-1 on the debut. Has done very little running. TriStar Fury took plenty of money first time out for 25 maiden claiming.
And John Ortiz has been very hot. His barn's cooled off a little bit, but this horse didn't do any running either, and that's why a big price.
Cantermachi Barn with Flea.
I'm always a fan of the Cantermachi Barn, but I guess this horse is maybe the third likeliest winner. I don't think this horse should be 14-1.
No. So Vain beat it odds on for Linda Rice last start.
You know, you have to hope that Linda's sort of figures something out with this horse.
Claimed, I should say. First off the claim with Linda Rice. That was Danny Gargan who got beat last start. Combatant Song, the 5, who Maggie touched on.
Yeah, I think both of you have very fair cases for this horse to be potentially the other horse here.
Tangeray Cruiser debuting for Joe Sharp.
If Maggie doesn't like a Joe Sharp horse, I want nothing to do with it, because she is maybe one of the presidents of the Joe Sharp fan club.
Public does not either. 11-1 right now.
Yeah.
Kef is 0 for 5 in the money.
Yeah, it's going to have to get better.
And then the massive favorite now 1-2 with a big drop down, and with Pratt, Cathedral Isle.
This is a horse that, you know, got involved with the speed that fell apart last time out as a heavy favorite, and Rick's dropping a lot. Listen, 1-2 is a little tough to swallow on this horse, but probably a very likely winner. But this is an awfully short price. But it's also indicative of the fact that there just aren't that many options here, right? If the Joe Sharp Firster's not getting bet, the 1, 2, and 7 are kind of impossible to make. So where are you going to go? I mean, horses' prices are always very much a factor of who they're running against, and this horse on paper has very little competition.
Well, let's take a look at November 15th. This was 2 starts back, ran third for a tougher maiden 50 group.
I agree. I think if this horse runs this race, is very likely to, or she is very likely to win this race. Her last race is a bit of a concern, but, you know, the horse that won that race ran very well here, losing a photo here last week. So it might be a slightly better race last time than it looks. But you're still talking about a horse that lost badly at 4-5, but his first time Lasix for Rick. Gets the right post, right rider. Probably the likeliest winner. No great shakes, but the likeliest winner by a lot. That's why
Finding a field, yeah, probably to her liking.
But I think you guys have reasonable cases as the 5 is the other horse in here. And, you know, what I would do in these situations if you liked a horse like the 5, you know, you're thinking, I'm not thrilled with the 4. I don't care Linda claimed this horse. You know, Linda's probably not thrilled with the claim either. I mean, she claimed for 20. She's back for 20. You bet the 5, a couple dollars to win the 5, and you bet an equal amount. You know, if you're going to bet $20 in the race, you bet a $10 to win the 5 and a $10 8-5 or something like that. You know, I think that's sort of the way to play the race if you like a horse like the 5 or somebody else.
On the 5 right now for start number 2 coming up. Let's go back to Maggie.
Yeah, guys, I'm totally on the same wavelength. Yeah, 8, so much the horse to beat, but the 5's the one to use underneath, because I don't trust number 4, So Vain. And Andy, you're exactly right. Linda even said to me after she ran and claimed her last time that she was kind of like, oh well, kind of heeding the fact that she wasn't thrilled with dropping on her. Now, my biggest complaint about So Vain throughout her brief career so far is that she just doesn't carry any weight. And Danny Gargan, her previous trainer, and especially Linda, are trainers that pack the conditioning on, and she just does not do that whatsoever. Now, I will say this, there are 2 differences. Obviously, the track, and a wet track, it's her first time on it. She does have the appearance of a horse that might like the going. Secondly, this is by far the most relaxed prior to a start this filly has ever been. Now, the first time starter, And he's also right about me being a very big Joe Sharp fan, and Tanqueray Cruiser not taking much money. There's not much pedigree to report on. I mean, Catalina Cruiser, he hits at about 10% with his 3-year-old and up first-time starters, and there is no pedigree on the bottom, and it's reflective in her physical conformation. She's just not much to look at. She's incredibly small, incredibly short-coupled, and she's wearing blinkers first time out, and I think this was just... She's a New York bred, and this is the only option where she may fit. So 12 to 1, I would be surprised if she gets the job done here, Greg.
If Joe Sharp has a firster in this field and it's 12 to 1, I'm going to be very surprised if this horse runs, because Joe is a trainer that wins. He doesn't just win, he gets bet. And for him to run a firster in this kind of field and not take any money, that is a bad sign.
Still, we have a sloppy racetrack too, so that's throwing a wrench into things a little bit. And we don't have much to go off of in terms of who might like it.
It's all, yeah. I mean, I guess people look at pedigrees, and do worse look at pedigrees. I don't get too caught up in those things. It's rare that some horse that just didn't do any running is somehow going to be really good on a wet track. You know what I mean? That's just not the way I look at things. But people have different ways of handicapping, and you can have two people that like the same horse that like them for completely different reasons, and they may both be right or both be wrong. More often wrong.
Meanwhile, 3 to 1, So Vain. Linda Rice claims off of Danny Gargan. Last time out, beat it 1 to 2 for this level.
I think I remember Maggie saying that on the show last time this horse ran, when she said how Linda, after the race, said, I don't know if I made a great claim there. And I think Maggie said that on the show last time this horse ran. I could be wrong, but I think she did.
2 to 5 now on Cathedral Isle.
It's hard to take 2 to 5 on anybody, for me, and I know you feel the same way I do, especially in a race like this. I wish I had a horse I wanted to bet against this horse with. I don't.
5's become a little more attractive.
Well, I mean, it still hasn't really floated up. I mean, the interesting thing about this race is the 4 and 7 have not floated up as the 8 has come down. Yeah. It's all the other horses just taking zero money, basically.
Here we go, late pick 4, and the betting public telling you the 8 cannot lose here.
Pretty much, this pick 5 must be paying. This early pick 5 must be paying crazy low.
Griffin with the call. Here's the 5th from Aqueduct.
Is in. All set. And they're off. Speed to the outside from Kef. Forwardly placed, now puts a head in front of Cathedral Isle. In between horses, Combatant Song now wants to assert, and Combatant Song is the leader, is up by a half length. Chased to the outside by Kef. 3 wide is going to be Cathedral Isle. Tightly at the rail, there comes Flea. That's the leading 4. Just off of them is So Vain. Progressing has taken 5th. Is to the outside of Fiona's Joy, who's back there in 6th. There in 7th is Tanqueray Cruiser. Far back, the early trailer, Tri-Star Fury. 23.52 for the opening quarter mile. Combatant Song wanted to be on the front end, and Manny Franco has 4 furlongs left to get. Is up by 3/4 of a length. Right to the outside is Cathedral Isle. Losing ground quickly there was Kef, is now back to 5th. Just got passed to the outside by So Vain, and so now it's Combatant Song having to deal with Cathedral Isle, the heavy favorite, who now puts a neck in front, is chased to the outside by So Vain. An all-in Flea is trying to make up some ground from 4th, but Cathedral Isle now gets the cue to put this race away as a quarter mile left to go. Cathedral Isle, So Vain continues to give game chase. Center of the racetrack is chasing this leader, Cathedral Isle. Right there now taking 3rd is Flea. Cathedral Isle at a short number, has a furlong left to go, is up by 2. Still making hard work of it is So Vain to the outside, is trying to cut into that margin with a 16th left to go. Cathedral Isle almost there. Cathedral Isle does enough and wins it. So Vain 2nd, then came Flea and Tri-Star Fury in 1 minute 28 and 4.
Odds-on favorite to start this late pick 4, Cathedral Isle, Flavian Pratt, Rick Dutrow Jr.
Listen, sometimes, Greg, they do run the races on paper.
Yeah.
And on paper, they were the right 2 horses. And I think the 4 ran a little bit better for Linda Rice to be 4, but Cathedral Isle with the speed able to stalk the 5, and the 5 was a little more live today with Manny, but just doesn't have any stamina really. And this horse looked to be best on paper. I don't know that I would call this winning like a 2 to 5 shot should, though, Greg.
No.
You know, but it's the competition.
8-4-3-2, 18 to 1 shot to complete the trifecta. But no doubt about your winner. Comfortable victory.
By the way, the pick 3 pays $37 for 50 cents. I think the parlay is right around, it's around $10. It's right around $40. I think the total parlay is somewhere around $60 for $2. So $15, it paid literally 1.5 times the parlay. And I understand somebody look at it and say, oh, it's a $37 pick 5, I didn't want to have it. Well, you're actually wrong. It's bad thinking, because that's value no matter how you cut it.
Yeah.
And that's the flaw in people that think you can only make money in pick 5s by throwing out favorites. It's just not the case. It's
We'll
bad
preview the
logic.
Tampa Bay Derby on the road to this year's Kentucky Derby this weekend when we come back. Further ado, Kentucky Jockey Club winner making his 3-year-old return for Brad Cox, but a couple of interesting new faces in Power Shift and Canaletto set to take him on.
Owen Almighty turns him in. Owen Almighty to the 8th pole, 2 lengths in front of Chancer McPatrick, who tries to come after that one, but Owen Almighty's 3 lengths in front. Chancer McPatrick, a final 16th. Hill Road up the inside. It's Owen Almighty in front. Owen Almighty by 4. Owen, the all-powerful Owen Almighty, wins the Tampa Bay Derby. Chancer McPatrick was second, third went to Hill.
Last year's edition, Tampa Bay Derby, and Owen Almighty victorious. But it doesn't always relate to what will happen that first Saturday in May.
Well, he wasn't a Derby horse, and I think that was the situation. The trainer didn't really even want to go to the Derby, and the connections did. Whatever. People want to go to the Derby. I get it. Having said that, this weekend's Tampa Bay Derby very, very
Serious
possibly is going to
contenders.
have some real contenders for the Triple Crown races. This is a solid race. The big three in here all look like they could be players.
Yeah. Further ado, of course, making his 3-year-old return, even though he went backwards figure-wise in a Grade 2 win to end his 2-year-old campaign, still put together back-to-back wins to close out his 2-year-old season.
And what I would say, Greg, is he's probably not as good as the 20-length huge figure win at Keeneland, or not at that point, but he's better than that Kentucky Jockey Club. And I think looking at the field of Kentucky Jockey Club, I think it was a stronger race than the figure might suggest.
Meanwhile, Canaletto, you get purchased for $1 million. Expectations are sky high, and an 8-length win in the debut. You're living up to those expectations.
Well, I think the funny thing about Canaletto is that he's a half the Sandman, and there's absolutely nothing about him that reminds you of Sandman. Except, I mean, to be fair to Sandman, he did run some pretty good races last year.
He was a speed sprinter at the beginning of his career.
Right. This horse has speed. He's also an into mischief. I think he's a chestnut. I mean, I don't have my PPs in front of me, but he's definitely not a gray. And he was very good. And listen, Chad Brown, you know, I joked with him about something, you know, the notion that he wasn't a Derby horse. And Chad he's on his list. He's very much one of the big players. And I think, you know, any trainer will tell you, the more you've got at this point in the year that can get to the Derby, the more the merrier, because horses will get hurt, they won't make it, and the more you have, the more you can be in the Derby.
Pratt was aboard for the debut. He'll be back on Saturday. Here is Chad Brown on his second-time starter.
He ran super, and as it was reported, I was considering the Fountain of Youth, and I just thought the horse could use just an extra week and get him over to Tampa and on that course. So I'm happy with that decision. He just trained again beautifully here this week, and a little extra time, a little extra weight on him will benefit him. I think that he got the race he needed. He learned some things, and you can see he's got a few things to work on, but he finished off his race nicely, and I don't think he'll have any trouble handling 2 turns.
So start number 2 coming up, wins it a mile first time out. That's not always very easy to do, and he did it incredibly impressively.
He did. And I'll tell you, you look at the figures, the horses, that race is backed up. That was a very, very good race. Same connections, of course, as Sierra Leone, but also right now of Paladin, who a lot of people consider one of the top, if not the top contenders for the Derby. It's not bad to have 2, and it'll be interesting to see what he does in this race. He's a major player. He's not the only one, though. Yeah,
power shift, even though he did just about everything you could except win in the debut, and the horse who beat him by 3/4 of a length is regarded pretty highly.
And he's heading the Louisiana Derby emerging market. I get it, you know. I mean, I think the mentality has changed a little bit, and I happen to agree with it. I'm sure when they ran that maiden race, they thought, we're going to win. And you run a 95 or 96 buyer first time out, you usually win. Going a mile and 40 yards. And they thought, if we win this race, we're going to take a shot and go to the Tampa Bay Derby. They didn't finish first, but they ran a winning race. So I can understand taking the shot.
Including, 13.5 lengths clear of the third-place finisher. So essentially, almost as good as a win. As for the horse with the experience, who's a graded stakes winner, 3-year-old return of Further Ado. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Yeah, horse I'm a bit interested in. I remember watching this horse and his lead up to his debut thinking, wow, he works really well. He has this big stride on him. And then when he walked into the paddock, I was like, it's a little underwhelming. He's just a smaller type of horse, and that's exactly what his trainer Brad Cox has said of him, is that he is not an imposing type, but it's the way that he moves, it's the way that he works, and it does appear as though he is working with a purpose, coming back to make his 3-year-old bow in this Tampa Bay Derby. Watching his work 2-back, which was best of 28 there at pace, and for Brad going 101 flat, going by himself under a hold very easily, galloping out really nicely. Now, looking at those numbers, as Andy mentioned, he's run fast enough as a 2-year-old of the horses that have run fast now as 3-year-olds. So can he get back to those fast races? Can he improve a little bit? That will be the main question. Look, they have the recency edge over Further Ado, but he does have at least talent showing on his form that he fits here. So looking forward to him coming back to the races, that's for sure, Greg.
As you said, I mean, this is, I think, one of the more interesting Tampa Bay Derbies we've seen in a long time. Some very serious 3-year-olds that could show up and make noise on Derby Day.
You know, it's hard to put the maiden as one of your top 20 for the Derby right now. I mean, I'm just saying, if you were making a top 20 list, I'm not sure he's on the list. From a talent standpoint, he may well be, especially if they're going to take that route, where emerging market probably isn't. You've got 3 serious contenders, 3 serious 3-year-olds. Any one of these horses, and all of them could be in the Derby, they could be in the Belmont, they could be in the Travers. These are good horses.
And take a look at upcoming Derby preps. What's ahead? The Puma, maybe a horse who could make a little noise too, make it just his 3rd career start.
What I would say about the Puma is, see, I wouldn't put him in the same category as the Power Horse, because that horse ran a very big figure first time out. I think you have to be careful with putting these maidens over their head like that. And I understand a lot of people thought he had a trouble trip last time, and I know these connections had that Derby win with Mage. Okay, they're doing it again, going into a stake in his 3rd start as a maiden, 2nd one in a row. That's fine. If he does not perform well in here, win a maiden race with him and get him back to a place where he can start winning again, because this is a tough spot for him.
Here's the man that's going to ride Canaletto in the Tampa Bay Derby, Flavien Prat. Got a win here on Cathedral Isle, went off at 2-5.
And we have been talking off camera how Flavien is going to ride Canaletto as opposed to going out to California to ride Brandt. Now, it may be a factor of riding for Chad, you know, and wanting to stay on those horses, though I'm not confident that Brandt, as talented as he may be, wants to go long. But I think the real reason he stayed here in the winter was to ride horses like this, Greg.
Cathedral, no question. Who takes the big drop down in class and rewarded with a victory at a very short price. At 2-5 here. 294 for the win.
Got almost 1-2. You know, let's be fair.
Early pick 5 is not going to make you rich.
But, you know, once again, it's all relative. And I'm not saying, listen, I don't bet short-priced horses. All I'm saying is this horse could have paid about $18 and paid $37. Well, that's like betting on pick 5 that should pay $400 and pays $800. You know, value is value.
Up next, that horse right there, the one to beat, Stradale, making his 3-year-old return for Steve Asmussen. Much the one to beat.
$1,600,000, thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Olympiad gets the gold in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Now bid at 410,000.
There's your winner, 410,000. $400,000.
Oaklawn Hot Springs is here for when you need to break away, when you want to reward yourself, when you deserve to indulge, when you want to be close to the action. It's all here. So what are you waiting for? Live racing returns with the classic racing season. So plan your stay at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
And welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. Making the sport easier to follow. Explore stories, betting tips, and race day insights at americasbestracing.net. And we've got a beautifully warm day here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Allowance race going 6 furlongs here, and the horses are well on the track, Megan. And Got a big favorite here in the 6, Stradal, if I'm saying that correctly.
Stradale, yeah. It's named after a very nice Italian sports car, by the way. And we are familiar with this horse from some of his races in Saratoga and up in New York, where he showed some talent. Did not have the best of trips earlier on. Was against it in the Champagne, but this is a $1.3 million son of a Yalpon, who, as I mentioned, was one of those Saratoga 2-year-olds, and he should be strong here. It's 2-5 though, Mig. Is a bit short, particularly with the horse that's coming off the bench.
Well, he's obviously a horse that's eye-catching in the mornings. He started off his career being back-to-back favoritism in Saratoga. He was 6 lengths clear of Further Ado in his second start, who is certainly one of the main players in that Tampa Bay Derby the guys were talking about earlier. And I love the work pattern. 58 out of the gate. Very, very fast, but then comes back with that very slow half a mile. You see a lot of times Steve Asmussen's runners get that really stiff work in there, and then they just get a nice, slow maintenance kind of move. I like that pattern.
He looks very fit just looking at him on our screens off of the bench. I don't necessarily have as much of a problem with that. And I do find that he's just likely much better than these horses. And I will say, you know, looking at him over the summer at Saratoga, I was on deck for a couple of his races. He kind of seemed to me like a longer, scopier individual. Maybe giving the hint that longer was better, but his sprint races have been very, very impressive. Last time out when we saw him at Churchill Downs in the Ed Brown, he just never looked comfortable in that race, Mig. He was keen, under a tight hold, and just kind of, to me, just didn't really have the best of trips that day in a compact field. So I'm very interested to see him come back. He was kind of an X-factor horse for me coming up on the overnight. And I will say, I don't think he wants too much longer. Maybe the mile 7/8 more kind of his forte. But Mig, he looks fantastic.
Yeah, a real nice impression. And the 2-horse Zeus's Echo is a horse that you pointed out to me, had trouble at Churchill Downs in the last start and actually finished after extricating himself from that trouble.
He did. He galloped out in front of the winner, Oscar's Hope, who came back to win a stake race against the likes of Ewing here in the Ozark, and there were some awkward moments there. He kind of gets a rider upgrade now with Luis Saez. He'll be forwardly placed, which was a talking point. The pace in this group, Mig, I thought there was a lot of horses that wanted to be forward, but not necessarily an overt controlling speed, but still seems like there's going to be quite a bit of pace on here.
I think there's going to be quite a lot of pace on. I think the 3, Chad Allen, could be the purest closer in the group. Stradale should be lurking from off the pace, but we'll find out in a few minutes here as horses are loading up in the gate rather nicely in an orderly fashion, so we'll send it up to Matt Dinnerman for the call of race 5.
Stradale, post position 6. Chad Allen about to come up. Here's Chad Allen coming up to the gate. Awesome Magic has gone in. 2 back. Chad Allen looks like he'll be one of the last to go into the gate. Chad Allen going in, and then to the outside, Canned Heat rounds out the group. 1-2 for Stradale. We're ready to go. And we're off. Chad Allen had to take up at the start. Zeus's Echo, hard sent for the lead. Canned Heat on the outside right there with Swung, who's moving up. Awesome Magic, 4 across the track. Swung with a narrow lead in the white blinkers here. We come back to Stradale with his stablemate Strong Potential. Chad Allen is the trailer. Down the backside they go. Zeus's Echo, hard sent to get to the front. He's got the lead aggressively ridden. Swung right there, perched outside of him. And Stradale has made his way into third between horses, claiming that spot as they round the far turn. Canned Heat on the outside, sent along hard. Gap of 2 to Strong Potential with Awesome Magic, and Chad Allen under a hard ride at the back. Zeus's Echo gives way. Here comes the favorite Stradale to come and pounce on Swung. Canned Heat on the outside trying to run a big one at a price. Stradale finds himself between horses with Swung. They're off the turn together. Stradale outside, Swung hanging tough from the inside. Stradale switches leads, gets a crack of the left hand, and now starts to accelerate once again. Opens up by a length and a half. Now it's 2, hitting the 16th pole, and it's Stradal drawing clear late. Stradal in the red, white, and blue Kaleem Shaw silks coming to the line, reporting home 2.5 ahead. Swung second, Canned Heat third. Shad Allen from the back gets fourth.
And your favorite, Stradal, comes home rather promptly as your favorite. He broke a step slow, but really nice ride by Keith Asmussen to let him slide up into position before they got to the far turn, and he was the best horse once he was in the clear. It was all over.
Asked him at the top of the lane, gave him his encouragement, and pulled away. He was just better than these as Stradal returns to the races, a winner at 3. I think a stake race is in his future, Mig.
Yeah, I would have to think he's earned his right to step up in company, but let's head back to New York and the guys on the desk.
I feel like Stradal could be a player going forward in the bigger races. I don't think any 2-year-old left Saratoga is more unlucky to still be a maiden. I don't know if people remember his debut when the winner emphasis completely eliminated the break. The second place finisher came back at Gulfstream in his next start and ran a very good second. And then he set a huge pace going 7 in his second start, only to lose to Talkin, who is a price, but he's in the Tampa Bay Derby and finished second in the Champagne. This Stradal is a good horse.
And that was basically just a gift, courtesy of Oaklawn, to give you 1 and 2 on that horse.
Yeah, I agree. You and I were saying during the race, I'd rather bet that horse at 1 to 2 than the last winner who paid $294 here.
Back to New York here, 6 furlongs, $20,000 claiming race as we look at the favorite here, Stewie. It's Rob Atras first off the claim. Let's go down to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll check in with Stewie here, as I think he is coming off of 2 efforts where he was against the racetrack. Days where you wanted to be inside, he was not. And 2, last time with a lesser-known rider, I just thought he got a terrible ride. He broke with the leaders, then he got steadied back, then he got steadied again around the turn, and he was still able, to secure 3rd that day. So definitely a worse trip than it would appear on paper. Now, Stewie is a horse that does usually physically look great. He makes a wonderful impression yet again, especially against this field. First time out here for Rob Atras. He's, got that confident forward demeanor that I just love to see from horses prior to going into the starting stalls. So I do think Stewie looks good here in the paddock, Greg, and he does have some reasons to like him on form too.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Our post parade here coming up. We'll start with Looms Boldly.
Yeah, my man David Aragona, the morning line maker, made the 8 favor of the 2. I thought he was crazy. Whenever that happens, he's right and I'm wrong. To me, he's the speed and the one to catch.
Last 2 efforts, too. Again, relative to this field, very good. Here's Catch the Smoke, Ricardo Santana Jr., off since July.
Hasn't been seen since being claimed and running badly. Comes back as a gelding. I'll say one thing. He's got races fast enough to win.
Timaeus has several races fast enough to win. The last one was not.
Yeah, I mean, he just went from 5 to 1 to 5 to 2. I made a nice bet on him. I like him. I'm going to cancel my bet if he's 5 to 2. But we'll talk more about him after the post parade.
Brave Bear is going to shorten up in distance.
Yeah, he could be a bit forward despite cutting back.
And Stewie, is he basically just being bet off that last race?
I know he won once rating. I still think that was them punishing me because I bet the horse he nailed by a nose. I don't trust him off the lead. Maggie seems to like him more than I do. I don't understand why he's favored, but maybe I'll be wrong. And
3rd barn in his last 3 starts, 9 to 5 favorite. There's the prices. Stradale 1 to 2 with that comfortable victory in the 5th, with Saudi Crown still to come and make his long-awaited return coming up.
I think Saudi Crown at least faced a little bit more competition, despite it being a smaller field. Those horses couldn't beat a horse like Stradale, and I think Steve's probably, going forward, I got to think he's thinking, if I'd love to get him to the Woody Stevens and the Alan Jerkins. We'll see if he's good enough.
Focusing back on this race here, 3 minutes to post. Let's take a look at Looms Boldly.
Well, Looms Boldly is the speed and the horse to catch. I'll talk about Timaeus after we talk about him. We'll show his last. And there's always been that concern. He hasn't run some of his better races in the mud. But I think as long as he gets loose, I don't worry about a wet track. And he is faster early than Stewie, so he's supposed to be in front. Now, having said that, if Stewie was aggressively ridden and Stewie was on his throat, I think that might become problematic, but I think it would be problematic on a dry track. I don't think it's a wet track situation. This was a tough loss for him. He ran very, very well in here. I remember I didn't like him. I liked the winner, but I didn't feel like I was smart because it took everything for the winner to finally grind him down and beat him. He ran well. He's a fast horse. He's cutting from 7 to 6, which in some ways makes it harder for speed horses because the paces can be hotter. But he's quick, and the good Looms Bowley will be tough to beat. I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he's the horse to beat more than Stewie. We'll see if I end up being right. But I like Timaeus. You look at Timaeus, he is just, last time out, way over his head. He was 5-6 wide against a Gold Rail. The time before, those are just better horses. He was chasing. He's back where he belongs. His last win was at this level. This is where he's supposed to be. I just think they got overly optimistic with him. If he get back to his better races, I thought he would be very tough in here.
Yeah, 2 races back, 4 races back. Those demolish this field, it would appear. 3-1 right now. Let's go back to Maggie.
That's the same things I saw on paper when it came to Timaeus. The last time in for 20, one of his faster races with that 86 buyer, a faster race on the sheets as well. And last time he was against it. That race, basically wire, Cool Andy and Carvelian Quest kind of running 1-2, maybe the opposite way around once they hit the wire. But he was chasing out wide or far back out wide. So against the rail that day. And he's just the horse that when they walked into the paddock, Greg, was just immediately caught my eye. He looks fantastic. He does tend to look that way, but sometimes it's about who you're facing, not who you are. And against this field, I thought he was a bit of a standout.
All right, thank you, Maggie. See how this plays out here as we get to set to kick off here this final pick 3 on the card. And 8-5 favoritism has moved to Looms Boldly on the inside.
Well, I might actually be right that I thought he'd be favored, and usually I'm wrong. But it seems like a fight between those 2 horses. And we'll see. If the 8 puts some pressure on Looms Boldly, I think he's vulnerable. Like I said, I like Timaeus. I'm not particularly excited by the 3-1. I was hoping to get a better price. I guess I should have bet the double and not just, not wait around to bet the horse to win. But I was having so much fun with you, Greg, that I forgot. I'm curious to see go ahead, if Catch the Smoke runs at all.
That's the 4 at 8-1. Yeah, just claimed by Rob Falcone Jr. Santana will ride.
Claimed in July, and they're using the waiver today. I think people have different opinions of the waiver. I think it's trainer by trainer. Some of them use it, as sort of preps off the layoff, but horses do win off the waiver, so we'll see. He has got some good races.
Seems like, and we know Looms Boldly is the speed of the speed, right?
I think he is.
He's got the inside, and also you see that 3-furlong drill, bullet 3-furlong drill, which mean I would think signals they want to put even more speed in the horse and assure he gets to the front, make him sharp.
I mean, I can't, he can't win unless he's clear. If this 8 goes on a mission, and that's nothing they can do about that. But I believe he is the fastest horse in this race.
And he's a 7-5 favorite as well with the inside post. Chris Griffin, the call. Here's race 6.
All set. And they're off. Stewie flew out of the gate right to the front, and Stewie, just like that, is up by a full length and a half. It's Stewie forwardly placed. After braking sharply, Manny Franco as well clears up by 2. Here comes Timaeus in between horses, right there with Brave Bear. They're second and third, and Looms Boldly off the pace this afternoon, is back there in fourth, is going to have to run on now. Now holds that rail position, is on the move. 22-4 for that quick opening quarter mile. Stewie is in front. Looms Boldly is right in behind. Now a clear second. Under the shove is Timaeus. Out wide of there is Brave Bear. Far back the trailer. Catch the Smoke. Stewie still forwardly placed and still front running, approaching a quarter mile left to go. It's Stewie. Quick look back here from Manny Franco, and Stewie reaches the top of the stretch. Stewie trying to put this race away, but quickly moving to the outside was Looms Boldly to give that game chase. Stewie, Looms Boldly, a furlong left to get. It's Stewie who's still got a margin. Here comes Looms Boldly, is now bearing down on this rival with the 16th left to go. Stewie trying to gut this out. Looms Boldly on the grandstand side, far apart. These two down to the line. It's a photo. Photo with Looms Boldly and Stewie. Then came Timaeus at 1 minute 12.4. 2 seconds.
Not at all the way we expected. The 8 broke just like a rocket ship out of the gate. Got the lead. Looms Boldly from off the pace. Looks like he won it.
And I love he did. And I love the way Manny Franco didn't take anything away from the 8. And, for me, and I said this to you, I thought there was a better chance that Looms Boldly would be last in winning the race once the 8 got the lead from him. He's never been a horse that's shown himself to be brave, and if you had bet Stewie in here, you had to be counting your money. And we're even amazed that this horse was sort of gamely coming after him. Absolutely no excuse for Stewie. If he can't win under these conditions, I don't know what he's going to win under. And this is something we have not seen from Looms Boldly. Being able to rate, and on a wet track that at times he struggled on. I mean, I'm amazed that he won this race. I really am. The way the race was run, I'm amazed.
2-8-5-4, 7-5 favorite. And yeah, he has purely been a speed horse on the front end. That's how he's done all his damage in his career. Not today. Christopher Elliott, Orlando Notabarn, and this 6-year-old finding a new way to do things here to win as a 7-5 favorite here in race 6. We'll have more coming up from Oaklawn when we return. Race 6, maiden special weight, mile and a 16th. And it's a Steve Asmussen runner with son Eric aboard who's the favorite.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. And another very good group of 3-year-old maiden fillies going the mile and a 16th right here in race number 6. I thought this was a competitive group, but starting off with the number 3, Jolly Jolene for the Lindsay Schultz barn, who is getting to stretch right back out in distance off of a 6-furlong try. Now, I got to see her a couple of times here at Oaklawn Park, and today she just looks a lot lighter in her frame as we take a look at that 11-horse field. Thought this was one of my favorites to play of the day, kind of a puzzle, but the number 3, Jolly Jolene, just looking at her coming in off the track there for Lindsay Schultz, as mentioned, really lighter in her frame and condition. I thought she kind of took a step back for me physically, perhaps a filly that lives on her nerves as she does stretch right back out in distance off that 6-furlong try. I liked her on paper, but I do want to watch her with a bit of interest as far as her physically, but we've got a first-time starter there in the number 8, quite baffling for the Steve Asmussen barn, a $750,000 daughter of gun runner purchased a year ago at the OBS March sale. it's damn baffling. That makes the dam actually a half-sister to Constitution after she breezed 21-1 going 2 furlongs. And Steve Asmussen doesn't have the best numbers when it comes to debuting maidens, particularly going longer. And while I will say this, looking at her 2-year-old videos, excuse me, I didn't think she was the strongest looking behind. And when she walked into the paddock, I kind of thought the same thing. She's definitely one that I think is still filling out. She got some time off. They didn't immediately run her as she was purchased as a 2-year-old. And typically those rates, some of them can be race ready. Some of them might need some time. But she's still one that I do find will need the start. Did make a nice impression. I just find she still has a bit of filling out to do. But the number 11, Cognizant, for the other Steve Asmussen trainee, I just think that she's gotten some troubled trips in her last couple of journeys. On debut, she was a bit pinched. Last time out, she was in behind horses and didn't have a clear path as she's taking favoritism now. And she just really hasn't taken a huge step forward physically. She's kind of given me the same impression. A half to that Grade 1 winner, Disarm, who I do think wants this route of ground distance. And she's just a filly that I think has always been well-muscled, has always been carrying her flesh well, no worse for wear off of her last 2 efforts, and could be her lucky day, pending any trouble from that wide draw.
All right, Megan, thank you. Yeah, 9 minutes away from the 6th race coming up, and 2-1 on that outside runner for Steve Asmussen, Silver State filly. Start number 3.
I'm sorry that we don't have any audio of what Steve said to Eric after that race, but I'm guessing it didn't go well. But, you know, I think it's one of these things, you know, Richie says this, you know, was it a bad ride or an unlucky ride? I think it was a combination of both. I think, you know, Eric, the mistake Eric made, he got unlucky, he got shuffled out of the race, he was back to last, top of the stretch, talking about the 11 Cognizant. But I also think that Eric didn't do a good job of finding a spite so that didn't happen to him. I think he was a bit unlucky, but I thought it was a function of both. But he's a rider who has improved a lot. Greg, I don't know about you. I still think 9-5 from that post is a little tough to take. And there he is. He's the number 2 in this race. And you can see where he is now. He's just got completely shuffled. He has absolutely nowhere to go. And the race had just totally developed. Eric can't even ride him here. You know, lessons learned. You know, one thing you got to do when you're in live horses, it's one thing to save ground, but you've got to give yourself options. And Eric did. It's a learning experience, you know. And I thought he ran a bit. How well he ran is hard to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the race was over by the time he got clear. The problem is these days, these courses that have these trips, they just get so bet. And it's like, is he really a horse you want to take a 9-5 in here? How good is he really? Especially from that post.
Start number 3, second time going around a ground, and with scratches, it only winds up being post 9.
Okay, that's fair.
But
still not a great
not
post.
terrific.
Right.
As they come onto the track, and certainly the 2, Rockin' Robin, main player in this race.
Agreed.
2 back, 72 buyer in a runner-up finish to Search Party.
I actually thought he might be the horse to beat. She might be the horse to beat in here, to be honest. And I think the odds will change a bit. 4-1 seems pretty generous on her at this point.
Her and Denine Dare Greatly, both, I mean.
Yes, well, Dare Greatly's run the
tough.
races. The one knock on Dare Greatly is she's had a lot of chances. But I agree. She's not supposed to be 4-1.
Yeah. Start with Pretty Dang Fast in a moment here as they continue to come out onto the track, approaching the 5-minute mark to post. And this is quite a jump when we do get to the 1 here. Maiden 30, first 2 starts of her career, jumping into Maiden Special with some real legitimate solid horses for this level.
Yeah, this is kind of like naming horses after your girlfriend or, you know, a family member. You have to be careful doing it. I have news. She's not Pretty Dang Fast.
She is not.
She's pretty dang slow, actually.
Doesn't get out of the gate well to boot.
Yeah, this is
and now taking a big hike in class.
Big jump up in class, and she's 22-1, so it's reflected, you know.
David Cabrera will ride for Ronnie Cravens. Seems improbable. Rockin' Robin next towards, we mentioned, major player Mark Casse, Christian Torres.
The race 2 back would make her very hard to beat. She was disappointing last time at even money, but at 4-1, she's very playable. We'll get to her eventually, I guess.
Right. Here she comes. Been in the money in 4 or 5 career starts. Was behind Dare Greatly last time out, who we'll get to. Jolly Jolene, this is career start number 5, Lindsay Schultz.
A little interesting stretching out. The problem is I don't think she really wants this distance. You know, she was 6-5 in a maiden special going mile 16th, and I actually had a little trouble to start, but she didn't do any running.
3-year-old debut, summer date.
Yeah, I just didn't see anything to like about this horse unless she just takes a big step forward.
Tom Amis runner who completely got shut off in the stretch last start.
She did. You saw the trouble more than I did, and I agree. I still don't know if she's good enough.
Warrior Sophie, Justify filly, making start number 2.
I don't want to bet her at 4-1, but she's the one I like in here. She had a real trip last time.
Quite baffling, the Steve Asmussen $750,000 filly debuting.
Well, some would say it's quite baffling. The $750 million gun runner's taking no money, but Steve is 1 for 23 at Oaklawn with first-time starters and dirt routes.
Here's Dare Greatly. You can make the argument she should be, if not favorite, second choice.
I haven't looked at the multis, but I bet she comes down from there.
And Cognizant outside still favored at 2-1. Steve Asmussen, Eric Asmussen.
Now listen, I mean, I think we both think she can win. I think we all do, but I just don't think that's a particular bargain. I'm going to bet a few dollars on the 6.
Stretch out, start number 2 for the daughter of Justify for the David Fox barn. That's Warrior Sophie, the 6.
Not a lot, but a little bit.
But
I just thought this horse was a little interesting, and I imagine she's going to go up in price in here. Because the thing is, I'm not sure. I don't know about you, Greg. I don't think any of them are that good. They're okay.
I honestly,
competitive.
I mean, the line meant nothing. I thought she was probably the 4th one to try and.
The 4th choice. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I mean, I think the 2,
Which she is
the
on the board
9
right
and
now.
11 are more likely winners than she is. She's an unknown. But she really got completely and totally eliminated at the start last time, and you know, after breaking a step slow, and was just way out of the race, and she did make a legitimate run in there. But, you know, some of those horses, they look sexy, they're stretching out the next time, and they're more closing sprinters are really just not good enough.
Let's go to Hot Springs.
Yeah, guys, it's a really interesting race for the fillies and mares. And we'll start with the 2, Rockin' Robin, who I like. I just think she had an impossible trip last time. She was just a little bit too keen. Her head was up in Christian Torres' face. I think Christian Torres knows her now. There's not a lot of speed, at least on paper here. If I'm him, drop my hands, let her go to the lead. You're going to have to catch me.
She's one that in the barn is kind of an ornery, cantankerous kind of filly, and she trains like that in the morning, and she's not the easiest keeper. And to me, just looking at her gradually from seeing her from December to now, I don't find that she's as impressive physically as when I first got to see her. That's my only drawback to her, but you're right, there's not much pace, and I think that in these kinds of situations, particularly as who she is an individual, go to the lead and let her settle.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a lot of the grandsire influence, hard spun, a little bit on the smaller side, but you know, just the way she fought with Christian last time, I think he had to learn something about it. I would just put my hands down and let her get very, very happy, and hopefully that'll be leading them early. The 6, Warrior Sophie, came from so far out of it, sprinting after breaking awkwardly. You made the comment to me off camera, from a physical perspective, she sure looks like she'd appreciate the distance, and I agree.
As soon as I saw her, I thought that horse wants this route of ground. And as Andy mentioned, sometimes on paper they might seem a little perhaps more intriguing than what they are when they're getting that distance test for the first time. But looking at her physically, this is everything she wants. She's a sizable daughter of Justify, who's got some substance to her. She's really kind of matured. I think she's even filled out more than when she ran on February the 5th, about a month ago now. So I really love her in this spot. Obviously coming down precipitous drop off the 15-1 morning line, and not much damn pedigree, but a daughter of Justify. She gets the ground. She, I think, is very interesting in a field where there are some unknowns.
And you see a lot of that Justify influence, right? She's got a longer, scopier chestnut.
She's big.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And then the 9, Dare Greatly. She had a little more chances than some of the other contenders, but she's certainly a player.
She is a player. I almost went with her, but at the same time, I felt like almost as she was closing last time out into kind of a slower pace. I mean, 48-4 at the half, where there was a lot of bumper cars behind Take Charge Macy that day, and Cognizant kind of getting the brunt of it. Dare Greatly, I find, did take a step forward, but maybe that was a bit out of default. Kind of run similar races and trying to break her maiden after some of those restricted tries from Peter Miller, who's having a fantastic meet, vying for favoritism. She does make sense. I just am dubious, particularly when she's a closer in a field where the pace is kind of up in the air as well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just not seeing a tremendous amount of pace signed on. Now, the 11 Cognizant last time fired away from the gate running. Eric Asmussen eased her back, and then she just got buried in traffic. I mean, she had to back up, come out, and she did good to even rally to be third. Now, she's got to avoid being wide, but if she breaks as sharp as she did last time and has run on her mind, I think it would be probably a smart tactic to just let her go forward.
Yeah, let her use her speed, especially from the outside, and that's kind of what I've almost wish she was able to do last time out. There wasn't a whole lot of pace. They went slower at the half, as I mentioned earlier in that same race, and she just didn't have the best of trips. Now, she was on the inside her last two races, and now she breaks from the far outside on that 11 hole. So now she's going to have to carve out a different kind of trip than perhaps the issues, but we'll see how she runs back. As soon as I watched the race, I told myself I wanted a better back, and that's what I'm doing here, and I think she fits well. I'm hoping she also utilizes a bit more speed, Meg.
Yeah, you know, I understood the thought process last time. Eric broke sharp. It looked like some other horses were a little hungry for the lead. And he said, well, I don't want to get in a position where I've got to use her the entire race. So he eased back, and then it just never panned out. I mean, he had to back up with tiring horses, finally got to the clear, and she did good as far as I'm concerned to be third. Now, Dare Greatly beat her 4.5 lengths. I think she had more than 4.5 lengths of trouble last time.
Way more to me than 4.5 lengths of trouble. And as I mentioned, you know, it's always kind of interesting too when you can see trip trouble, but then you're still also trying to gauge with maidens even how good they are, right?
Sure.
And it's tough. It's a tough call because you want to bet horses and hopefully they get that better trip, but you're also conscious of the fact how good are they at the end of the day.
Yeah, I tell you what, she is a beautiful daughter of Silver Slate. Now, he hasn't gotten off to a particularly good start as a young sire, but that could always change. Some horses just don't throw that kind of precocity. But Cognizant could not look better physically. Now the two-horse, Rockin' Robin, has drifted down to favoritism, and I think that's probably right considering the trip she had last time. But I'm on the 2, you're on the 11. Matt Dinnerman, he'll have the call.
Jolly Jolene and Quite Baffling the next two. Summer Date post position at number 4. Dare Greatly coming up to the gate. One back, Cognizant. Cognizant goes in. We're ready to go. And we're off. Uneventful dispatch for all. Jolly Jolene up on the pace with Rockin' Robin. Here comes Quality Amy to be part of it. Warrior Sophie. 4 runners. Those 4 across the track as they go into the first turn. Dare Greatly tucking over right behind them as they corner into that turn. Warrior Sophie tried to get out just a little bit there. Cognizant in between horses now. Summer Date's down on the rail. Pretty Dang Fast is second to last and Quite Baffling. The first-time starter well out of it early. Approaching the back stretch. They have sorted themselves out here on the lead. Jolly Jolene on a hold right now. Leads the way a half length from Warrior Sophie, who's the presser, and third is Rockin' Robin on restraint as well down on the rail. Quality Amy next, gap of 2 to Dare Greatly. Cognizant in the bridle, she's 5 off the pace, another 3 to the Grace. Summer Date, Pretty Dang Fast, still second to last. Quite Baffling, can see them all as they hit the half-mile pole right now. Jolly Jolene, half length in front. Warrior Sophie there on the outside. And third is Rockin' Robin on the rail. Quality Amy shaken up as they round the far turn. Then comes Dare Greatly, still 5 from the lead. Cognizant shaken up just a bit with 3 furlongs to go to get going. And there she goes with her move. Cognizant beginning a move as they round the far turn. Gap of 3. Summer Date, Pretty Dang Fast is given way. And Quite Baffling still well behind as they come to the top of the stretch. Jolly Jolene is off the turn with the lead here. Jolly Jolene hugs the rail and kicks on with Rockin' Robin. Dare Greatly. Rockin' Robin threading the needle between horses has got the lead with a furlong to go, pushing by Jolly Jolene, who's trying to counterpunch from the inside under the left-handed encouragement. Rockin' Robin, narrow edge here. Jolly Jolene fighting back courageously inside Rockin' Robin. Jolly Jolene coming back. Jolly Jolene on the inside in a photo with Rockin' Robin. I think Jolly Jolene came back, but it's a guess. It's a photo with Dare Greatly third and Pretty Dang Fast fourth.
Well, in a thriller here in race 6, was it Jolly Jolene or was it Rockin' Robin? I think Jolly Jolene might have fought her way back.
I think she might have. She looked like she got her nose there on the wire for Lindsay Schultz, a filly that her last time she was able to go 2 turns, she completely missed the break. So was able to break clean today. And while I didn't love her physically, she got the job done. It looks like we'll hold tight on that sentiment because it was very close.
No, it was very close, and I'm not really sure. Well, actually, they already put it up.
They already did.
3-2, 9-1. Rockin' Robin, she had her trip. She was able to get out, turn it for home. Looked like she had dead aim, and just was not quite good enough as Jolly Jolene fought back and gets it done with a very game performance here. Disappointment had to be number 11, Cognizant, although she did get floated very wide. I don't think she had a lot of run turning for home.
She didn't. It felt like she might have in some of those on the backstretch. I kind of obviously was watching her. I picked her, but not a ton of excuses other than the fact that she was incredibly wide. And it almost seemed like it discouraged her there late. She just kind of, I feel like she realized she was so wide, and she just kind of flat from there. But hopefully a better trip in store. But it was all these two, the number 2, Rockin' Robin, and the number 3, Jolly Jolene in the end.
Well, a real nice performance here by the winner, and another exciting race here from Oaklawn Park. And as you can see, nose is up and down on the wire, but it was the 14-1 Jolly Jolene getting it done here. We're going to head back to New York to the desk here, guys, or are we going to a break? Okay, well, let's head back to New York and see what's going on up at the Big A.
Equine Chandelier of the Month award goes
Wow,
to number 2,
unreal. That horse could not get by. Race 7 here on the sloppy racetrack. We're approaching the 6-minute mark to post. 6.5 furlongs, New York bred, allowance optional claiming field, 6-5 favorite, Mike Maker, Flavian Pratt, America's Back. The last start was a race this horse has never produced before, but even the races going back a little bit put this horse in the mix.
I agree. I picked this horse. Now, I've put all these favorites, except for one that won second. I've had a lot of second choices winning. I put this one on top. But at these odds, I'm going to bet the one factually correct.
Okay.
Who doesn't like to win, but has run well in wet tracks, and I think is interesting. I prefer America's Back, but aren't they going to have to catch What's Up, Bro, on the front
I
end?
felt like he, too, the 5, yeah, What's Up, Bro, just the more reliable horse if you're comparing the 4 and the 5.
I would certainly rather bet him at 7-2 than take 9-5 on the 6. Who, in my opinion, is coming off a 9-month layoff and is more than 9 months. Has got to improve to win this race. He's okay. I'm not saying
his figure on
win.
dirt
is good.
Thoroughgraph was pretty devastating. But you're counting on long time away. We'll see. Interesting race. Let's go down to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll take a look, though, at that layoff runner here in the paddock. That's number 6, Super Swift. I like what I see. Now, naturally, that probably comes with the fact that he has been preparing for this comeback in Florida. So he has been accustomed to some warm weather, so therefore his coat looks resplendent. But also his conditioning and his weight and muscle mass is just flawless here in the paddock coming back. And while he was always a good-looking younger horse, as he does return now as a 4-year-old, he has grown. He has, continued to reach that full physical potential, and he's energetic here in the paddock. He does have a bit of early speed. He's obviously not as fast as some of the others in here, such as What's Up, Bro, and even Factually Correct at times can be pretty quick, but he's got a nice outside post to play the break. I'd much prefer a horse coming back off of layoff to be drawn towards the outside in case there's a little ring rust to have to overcome. But wow, Greg, I really do like what I'm seeing from this horse in the paddock.
Positive signs. Thank you, Maggie. Riders up, and there is... Sorry, lost my page there. Manny Franco hopping aboard Super Swift, so the long comeback since May of last year. That was turf, by the way, last time. Last time he's been on dirt was March of 25.
Almost a year. I don't understand that turf idea. He'd run on the turf and run okay, but he's obviously a better dirt horse. But I guess they wanted to take a shot in a tough spot and see if he belonged there.
So here's Factually Correct to kick things off. 4-time winner on this track.
Well, I mean, he was chasing outside in a gold rail last time out, second off a little bit of a freshening. He's got races that are good enough. The problem with him is he probably needs the lead to be best, but at that price, I can't resist.
Jose was kind of on Barry Funny. Jose won the first 2 races on the card today.
The pace gets hot. He has a chance to get a piece at a big price.
America's Back, that last race.
He runs the last
the
race,
best of
he's
his
going to
career.
win, I think. But, you know, I understand having some trepidation about expecting it.
What's up, bro? He's been popular in the claim box.
Yeah, he was in that race. Yo Banana Boy wired him that day. That was when we canceled right after that race. But he's got good races on the front end, and he's dangerous.
And the last time seen on dirt, huge effort from Super Swift, but it was a long time ago.
But I wonder, you know, Maggie really likes what she sees. He's taking a lot of money. I wonder if this horse is pressing. What's up, bro?
See that foot action there. That left foot
Well,
swinging out.
he is a Vekoma. And we know the Vekoma looked a
paddling
little,
running
little
style,
funny.
yeah.
But I tell you what, he was not only a very good racehorse, he's proven to be a very good sire as well.
So here's America's back, and career start number 9. And look, he broke his maiden. It took him 7 starts to do it. But that last race was just a massive outlier, isn't it? He's realistically, where do you think this horse talent-wise is?
I don't know. It's a great question, Greg, right? Because it was his last race, and he's a 4-year-old, and maybe he's just finally getting his act together. You know, he's run some good races. It's not like he hadn't run good races before that. This was obviously a big step forward, and he had a good trip in doing it, but he's a little against the racetrack, to be fair, not wildly.
I believe you had said the rail was very good this day, right?
It was.
He spent a good amount of time on the backstretch, though, on the rail.
He was inside for a lot before he pulled out, so he wasn't wildly against the track, and the race was falling apart. It was his stablemate that actually went to the front, I think, along with Roofer, who was second. That horse came back and took a horrendous beat in the race. He looked to have won over the weekend. I thought it was a very good effort. I picked him in here. I think he's finally getting it together. And, you know, you look at, like, that second to Train the Trainer. Train the Trainer was a major stakes horse. He won 2 straight races after that, and he chased outside against a gold rail. So he's run some good races. That was in the mud. But he's 6-5. So, you know, is he worth 6-5? To me, not. I'm bet the 1 here.
Here's what's up, bro. In his last 2 starts, he's put together runner-up finishes against similar competition for 2 different barns. He's in yet another barn today, and he's got speed, too.
Yeah, I mean, he has one way to go. They have got to go with him, as much as any horse in this race. And we'll see if they do that. I think they're going to try to do that. I think the question is, he's the fastest horse in here. Could a horse like the 6, you know, really get in his way? We'll see.
Yeah, coming in fresh, you would think Super Swift's going to fire out of there, but I mean, this horse is legitimately faster.
Yes.
You would think. And they got to try and take advantage of that. 8 wins from 24 starts, 12 of his 24 starts. He's been first or second, 7-2 right now. It's actually a pretty fair price considering his form and the advantage he has.
I agree. I don't know why he is significantly higher price. He goes to 4-1 than a horse like the 6. He has that recency. I agree. I have no argument when somebody says to me, I want to bet on the 5 at 4-1. I think that is absolutely more than fair.
Meanwhile, though, this horse center screen price has gotten even lower. America's back. Even money, Maggie.
Yeah, he wasn't necessarily for me. I get that the last race was very fast, but I'm not generally one who, you know, likes to read into workouts that much. But look at the 2 breezes coming into that last race, which were 47-1 and 48-3, and everything prior to that was likely to be 49, and everything the 2 works since that have been on the slower side too. I just didn't love him in the paddock today. I'll be perfectly honest, and I'm willing to take a shot against him as the favorite here. Just thought he could look better in his coat and his weight, but I get why the appeal is there, as I do like What's Up, Bro, as you guys were talking about. I think he looks great here for Rob Atras, and then we'll see how much speed we get from Factually Correct, who, as Andy pointed out, was against the track last time, and I had liked him in his last start because I thought he finally looked like the good Factually Correct when he was running some of those faster races over the summer, especially in his weight and his coat. You know, those are the things you look at with a horse like him, who can be kind of a little bit of an in and outer when it comes to his form, when it comes to his physical presence. So I do like what I'm seeing from him yet again, and I'm willing to forgive him for that effort last time out, as there was an excuse. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Here we go, about to load for the 7th.
Yep. My feeling with the 1 is he's not a particularly likely winner, but I think he's much more likely to win than 11-1. So I don't mind losing a few bucks on him, and I put him second in the exacta as well.
3 for 5 on the wet track as well.
Yep, the wet track does not hurt this horse.
There he is stepping in, Luis Rivera Jr. for Fernando Abreu. Even money, though, on this horse, the 4. In those orange and red silks of JDT Racing, Mike Maker and Pratt. Is he the horse we saw back on February 5th? By far a career best performance. Will we get it again? We're about to find out. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Super Swift. Manny Franco goes in, all set. And they're off. Factually correct. Broke very sharply from the inside, right to the front. Here comes What's Up Bro to apply pressure and now takes the lead. What's Up Bro is now in front. Back to second will be factually correct. Moves off the rail, is now going to stalk. Is now move towards the outside, and that drifts out Super Swift. Just behind them, that's America's Back, who's in the 4th position as the leader sprints away. The trailer, Very Funny. What's Up Bro? Offensive-minded, and What's Up Bro is up by 3. Right there in second, it's factually correct, and America's Back with a rail skimming ride is now taken 3rd and progressing, and here comes America's Back after the leader. 22.44 for that quick opening quarter mile. Can What's Up Bro keep this up? What's Up Bro well into the far turn, approaches a quarter mile left to go. America's Back is now encouraged to do more by Flavien Prat to the outside. Very Funny, red cap down at the rail, starts to make up some ground too. What's Up Bro is still there. What's Up Bro, 45-4 for that half-mile time, and What's Up Bro is not giving in yet. Very Funny is making up some ground. America's Back now starts to charge late. The leader starts to tire a little bit. What's Up Bro needs a final 16th. What's Up Bro, America's Back. What's Up Bro, America's Back. What's Up Bro, hard-earned victory. What's Up Bro over America's Back. Then came Very Funny and factually correct in 1 minute 19.33 seconds.
What's Up Bro sees command after briefly the 1 got to the front, factually correct. This one quickly took over and kept on going.
It's an outrageous price of the source. I mean, I thought he'd be the clear-cut second choice. I'm shocked that he was at double the price of the 6 off the layoff who finished last. And here, layoff horses at short prices are trouble. He got to the front, he does what he did, and he held on. It looked like America's Back was going to get him, but he just could not get to him. I don't think America's Back ran badly. I just think this horse ran better. And maybe being in front was a little helpful to him.
5-4-3-1 finish. Jamie Rodriguez for Rob Atras off to claim the victory. Did he get taken again? We'll find out when we come back. 6-year-old wins for the 9th time in his career and a 4-1 upset here in the 7th.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Gunrunner is the sire of 16 millionaires and 12 Grade 1 winners. Last year, he sired $17 million yearlings, including the Keeneland September sale topper. He was the sire of the $2.2 million Keeneland November weanling sale topper as well. Gunrunner was the co-leading sire of 2-year-old Grade 1 winners, including Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner Super Corridoro. Gunrunner, breed true.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races. And our winner's circle lead-in is brought to you by Fasig-Tipton Digital, North America's #1 digital platform for thoroughbreds. Learn more about our auction schedule at digital.fasig-tipton.com. Let's get digital. Tight finish. It goes to Jolly Jolene in race 6. Lindsay Schultz, Francisco Arrieta.
At a big price to start out the multis going forward. So if you had this horse, good luck going forward.
Let's go to Megan.
Here with winning connections of the #3, Jolly Jolene breaks the maiden, and her trainer Lindsay Schultz beside me. She broke in a tangle, just did not have the right trip the last time you tried routing her, but man, was she game today.
Yeah, we've always thought the filly would go 2 turns, and thankfully Dash has been patient with her, but we're happy she got it done today.
And you've mentioned you've had a lot of talent in the pipeline with some of those 2-year-olds. She was purchased as a 2-year-old. What's kind of been the process through preparing her and kind of getting her to this stage?
Just take it step by step, really. I mean, she's obviously had some 3-quarter races to get her ready, and now she's thankfully ready to fire back at 2 turns.
Congrats here.
Thank you.
Dash Goff, owner. I mean, it's nice to get a win here at Oaklawn. You've got the Oaklawn plate.
Very good, very good. It's been a dry spell, but dry spell. This filly was 6-5 in the first of the meet and stumbled out of the gate. So it's been a little comeback, but we're glad to be here and all. And it's always good to be at Oaklawn because the sun always shines at Oaklawn.
I believe we lost our audio there. Apologies. Jolly Jolene, though, beaten favorite. Yeah, last start when adding blinkers for the first time. That was sprinting. Stretches back out and wins a dogfight here with this 2 Rockin' Robin.
I mean, I think it was a function of her being game, but at 2 hanging like a chandelier. That race looked over if you had Rockin' Robin, but Jolly Jolene at $30
for a barn that's won just about everything at the meet.
Yeah,
getting
but
beat.
you know they're going to slow down. You cannot keep up that kind of win percentage. You know, you're going to have bad runs.
And this is pretty remarkable. So you had Stradal and you had Mr. Goodtime, 2 very heavy favorites.
Right.
And then this horse that pays $62 for dollar pick 3.
All you needed was this horse.
Wow.
I could not have had this horse.
Tough one to have, yeah, no doubt. What's up, bro? Not quite gate to wire, but almost.
Crazy win price in this horse.
And never should have been 4 to 1. We talked about it.
Well, I don't think this horse should have been a bigger price than the 6. I could see the 4 being shorter, but there's no way this horse is supposed to be shorter. It's supposed to be 4 to 1, and the 6 9-5. I'm sorry, layoff horses. I think they're terrible gambles in general.
Belt, I mean, we said too, it's probably the most reliable horse coming in. Gets the 9th win of his career.
Cool horse, a cool, hard trying horse. That's why he gets claimed every race. Or one of the reasons.
By the way, got claimed again. Yep. So what's up, bro? Back to the winner's circle. America's Back has to settle for 2nd. And Very Funny checks in 3rd to complete the trifecta here. As What's Up, Bro returns $10.26 for the win. And one and done for Rob Atras with this horse. As this one, again, moving on. Claimed out of the race. Finale here in New York. 6 furlongs, $20,000 maiden claiming race. And right now it's languid. First-time starter for Chad Summers, who was the current favorite.
Well, those JKX horses, you never want to just rule them out. They keep winning. A little surprised at the odds on the number 7 right now at 8 to 1, and also the 6 at 9 to 1. We'll see what happens. My man Paul Verrosa on the show sometimes did the Talking Horse with me. He is sweeping the cards so far. And if the 6 wins, they'll wait for it.
Pretty good.
Short
From
prices
Paul, well
or
done.
not, that's hard to do.
Grade 1 winner, Saudi Crown, returning for his 6-year-old season off since June of last year when we come back. Back with you on America's Day of the Races on our Fox Sports 2 coverage, brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. That's a gorgeous site.
It's like a golf course, doesn't it? A little bit.
That's probably what's next in the pipeline. Never stop innovating out in Hot Springs.
There are tracks that have like driving ranges.
Santa Rosa had a little 9-hole course.
Toy might. I think they might in Paris.
Race 7 post parade. Here is Saudi Crown, former Grade 1 winner for Brad Cox.
Yeah, he's obviously very talented. He's also the controlling speed in this race. I mean, he was always the speed, but with his scratch it becomes easier. But he's got more competition than a 1-to-9 shot should have.
Indeed, he does. Runner-up to Forte in the Jim Dandy a few years back. Here's Cook Creek. He's been off since December for Mike Maker.
Cook Creek can be in good position stalking him. He's got some good races, and I don't think he's without a chance.
Ben Duke is a mile and a 16th too short.
I don't know. He's just such a hanger. Does it really matter? It just seems like he's lost too much for my money for a horse that has as much talent as he does. And you look through all those second-place finishes piling up.
And Gun Party, I'm a little confused of why he's a shorter price than the 4 Cook Creek.
Yeah, I'd like to bet Cook Creek will finish ahead of him. I'm with you. He should be the longest shot on the board.
7:01 from the outside post for Team Asmus and Steve with son Eric aboard. 3 minutes to post with the return of Grade 1 winner Saudi Crown. Let's go to Hot Springs.
Thanks, Greg. And Saudi Crown, I mean, with the scratches, he looked like controlling speed to begin with, Megan, but didn't his job get a little bit easier?
Yes, it did. And from the inside as well, there's no place to go other than forward, and that's his running style. It's where he is best. As you mentioned, that Grade 1 winner capturing the Pennsylvania Derby, and he looks fantastic. The assistant trainer to Brad Cox, Jorge Abrigo, who actually had this horse for just the one breeze here, said his breeze was absolutely fantastic. So there's no fitness questions to me per the DRF article on this. I mean, he's been training really well and ready to go. This is a ratings handicap, Mig, so it's a little different. It kind of plays more like a starter allowance where it's based off of their Equibase speed rating. So this does not go against him as far as moving forward through his allowance conditions.
Yeah, and he's already proven to be, successful here at Oaklawn. 2 starts, a win in a second, and he was very game in the Lake Ouachita last season here at Oaklawn Park. And he's going to be forward. Doesn't he project to get the same trip he got that day as we're going to take a look at it?
Absolutely. And I find it to be as a pressured pace. We shall see if Cook Creek, I find he'll be the next speediest in line to perhaps be on the tracking end of things. They're forwardly meant, but Saudi Crown, I mentioned, his allowance condition. This is a springboard to getting this horse back into stakes competition, and it seems like the perfect spot.
Yeah, and only beating a Kentucky Derby winner and Mystic Dan in a very game effort in last season's Lake Ouachita. I guess the key to the race is Cook Creek. How much does he take him on early?
Cook Creek is the type of horse that can be a bit on and off, especially with his paddock dynamics. I've seen this horse up in New York, particularly back when he ran that 9-furlong race at Saratoga, and he didn't exactly run all that well. He was incredibly under-assuming, quiet, and for a horse that's better when showing speed, you would think he'd be more rambunctious, a little bit more sharp. He was a bit more sharp today. I will say Oaklawn's kind of that claustrophobic, smaller end of the paddock, indoor paddock. This is his second time visiting. And I really liked what I saw. He was nowhere to be found in the Razorback the last time he ran here, but as we take a look at his last race, he ran well, though well beaten by Full Screen this day.
Yeah, I mean, he was just second best to Full Screen, but this was the Queens County, a stake in New York, and he ran very well. It does feel like he runs his best races when he's up on the pace. When he gets out-footed too much, it almost seems like he gets a little discouraged. But I got a feeling they're going to be very aggressive with him early, and maybe that affects the race a little bit for Saudi Crown.
Ramon Vasquez getting them out for the first time. I say so as well, Mig, especially with the shorter field that he got kind of in the Battery Park when he was able to control 3 back against a good group. I think he's, to me, pending the antics of Ben Du, Saudi Crown's got 2 nice horses to try to beat today.
Well, Ben Duke is outfitted with what we would call a run-in bit. If it was on the outside, it'd be a run-out bit. It's basically prongs that play on the kind of nerve endings of the horse's jaw, a horse that has that propensity or that bad habit of wanting to lug in. Ben Duke has cost himself races. He has 5 wins, 10 seconds. He's as good-looking a horse as you're ever going to see, this son of Gun Runner. But one of the byproducts of a bit like that is you give up a little bit of your power brakes, if you will. Your bit is your brakes and your steering. It is definitely power steering. It will definitely give you a hand in keeping a horse straight. But if a horse wants to get a little bit keen, and you see in his last few starts, and I communicated with Maggie Wolfendale because I wasn't sure if he'd been running with this bit. She says he has been more recently.
Has he? Okay.
But you see he's been more forward because a rider can't rein in a horse as much. It's more a bit just to keep them straight, less to control them about the kind of speed they're going to show.
I always kind of look at it as the contraption on him, so I love the elaboration as far as his extreme bit, but he can be his own worst enemy, as you mentioned. And sometimes I feel like he lacks that push late, you know? He's got to figure it out if he's going to get around 2 top quality horses.
Yep. Well, 5 wins as opposed to 10 seconds. Let's send it up to Matt Dinnerman for this field of 4 here in race 7.
Outside post. We're ready to go. And we're off. Smooth dispatch for all. Saudi Crown out on the lead with Cook Creek, who's sticking to him in the first part. Saudi Crown narrow edge here on Cook Creek second. Ben Duke off the speed running in third. And Gun Party fourth and last. Into the first turn they go. The earner of $3.4 million. Saudi Crown leads the way here. A length and a tail from Cook Creek, trying to keep things honest in the Pink Silk second. Big gap of 5 or 6 to Ben Duke and 2.5 more to Gun Party as they make their way up the backstretch. Saudi Crown went 23-1 that first quarter. Leads by that length and a quarter margin. Cook Creek, Ramon Vasquez right behind the second. Gap of 5 to Jaime Torres and Ben Duke. Another 4 or 5 to Gun Party. Eric Asmussen can only see backside as they're strung out, this quartet. Heading down the barn side here. Saudi Crown loose up top. A length and 3/4 now. Cook Creek right behind him will have to run him down. Gap of 4 still to Ben Duke, who's on the rail. And Gun Party remains fourth and last. Into the turn they go. Saudi Crown approaches the 3 furlong pole. Goes pretty well here under Luis Saez. Opens up now to a 2 1/4 length edge. Cook Creek under some pressure. Ben Duke making a move inside of him. About to claim second. Comes after the front runner Saudi Crown, and a big gap back to Gun Party. At this point, it's Saudi Crown's race to lose. Still on top by 2.5. Ben Duke saving ground coming off the turn, trying to get to him. Finds a seam on the rail as Saudi Crown gets outside into about the 3 path. He's still on top. Ben Duke making it a race. Here he comes up the inside. Saudi Crown asks for his best. Kicks on to a length lead now. Ben Duke trying, but still second. Saudi Crown, bigger and better things for him down the road. He kicks off his 2026 with a win. Ben Duke second. Gun Party outfinishes Cook Creek for the 3rd spot.
Well, it was the favorite, Saudi Crown. He said all the pace looked very comfortable, but Ben Duke came calling as he turned for home, and what a nice job by Christian Torres to slip through on his inside. You got a horse that's slugging in, get to the rail. He couldn't have given his horse a better chance, but Saudi Crown was a little too good and had a little too many things his own way.
I think it was the other Torres with Jaime Torres actually aboard Ben Duke, I believe.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. It was Jaime Torres who gave him a terrific ride.
A terrific ride, and Meg, I mean, you know more than anybody and can elaborate on this. When you have horses that lug in that way, he made a perfect move, especially in a compact field, kind of getting this horse to the inside and perhaps maybe weakening some of those habits a bit more.
Yeah, Saudi Crown was decidedly best. You saw Luis Saez. He was going to put him in as close as he could. It's a jockey's job to make his rivals as uncomfortable as possible within the boundaries of the rules. But this was a race where, you know, obviously Saudi Crown's the story. It's his comeback. He ran well. But sometimes those second-place finish rides don't get the credit they deserve. Right. Jaime Torres, that's the way to ride a horse like Ben Duke. This was a terrific effort by both the winner and the runner-up. And Ben Duke now 5 wins, 11 seconds, guys. But this was a terrific effort off the bench for Saudi Crown and something to build on.
Is something to build on, and just elaborate even more. I feel like for Ben Duke, it was the perfect spot because it was almost unencumbered by a bigger field perhaps. But Saudi Crown, one that I like that he was asked for some of his better run. It wasn't easy for him. He was actually asked a bit late, which I enjoyed to see.
Well, you get something out of an effort like that, you get the win and something to build on. We'll be back right after this timeout for some more racing from America's Day at the Races.
They come on for the finish in the Pilgrim Stakes. Annapolis by a head.
It is Annapolis in front. It is Annapolis to win the Coolmore Turf Mile.
Saturday, join Acacia Clement for the Tampa Bay Derby, a Kentucky Derby prep. Plus, Richard Migliori and Megan Burgess for Oaklawn Zazeri with champion 3-year-old filly Nitrogen in a star-studded field. Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern on FS2.
Say hi to our new stallion, Highland Falls. From his winning debut to that spectacular Jockey Club Gold Cup.
It is Highland Falls. He wins another one, this time the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Even his buyer was high. The race his sire made his own by a widening 4 lengths. A host of Grade 1 winners far behind. High and goodbye. Running a 107 when second in an All-Star Whitney. The rise and rise of Highland Falls. High class, on the track and on the page. This is his dam, winning the Acorn and then the Distaff. Aim high. Breed to a well-bred son of Curlin. Highland Falls, new to Darley.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back on America's Day at the Races. For more information on the New York Thoroughbred Breeding and Development Fund, that's where you go, nybreds.com. We have the nightcap coming up on this Thursday card on this still sloppy track. We'll get to it in a moment. Saudi Crown, 6-year-old return for Brad Cox. Successful as it looked like Ben Dube started to give him a challenge. All of a sudden, his competitive juices kicked in, and he kicked on for the win.
But it was a very honest pace. I mean, they weren't blazing out there, but it was an honest pace. And Saudi Crown's good. The problem with Saudi Crown is, you know, when you run the kind of races he did early, you know, you almost beat Forte in the Jim Dandy. You win the Pennsylvania Derby. You know, you start dreaming that you could be one of the best horses in the country, and he's just never really done it.
You were on for that show, and it was a controversial finish, that Jim Dandy. Did you feel Forte should have been taken down?
No,
that
I
day?
don't. No, I don't.
Okay.
Just to prove to people who think I'm always against Mike Rapoli's horses, I'm not. It's not the case anyway. I picked him when he won the Hopeful. No, I thought that they shouldn't have taken him down. I'm not saying that I didn't understand the argument. I always respect Richie's take on it, but I thought in that race and all these things, and I think a lot of it was because it was Irad. And this perception, which isn't totally unfair of the way he rides aggressively, but no, I did not think he should have come down.
Some big moments in Saudi Crown's career. We'll see if he's got some more to come as we get to our post parade for this finale. Here's Richie's love 6-1.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like this horse. You know, could be a little bit forward, but I preferred others.
Tinseltown, beaten favorite at this level last start. Pratt for Linda Rice.
Big excuse last time, wide against a gold rail, goes to Linda. This horse makes a lot of sense.
Charlie Charmer, blinkers on, start number 2.
Yeah, he's going to need more than blinkers. If those blinkers come with an engine, maybe he has a chance.
Turn back in distance for Same Old Story.
Yeah, this one probably wasn't Same Old Wish was a Bobby Barbera horse from years ago. Horse never won, was always second. Finally won a race the first time in 2 years. Beat me out of a pick 6. True story.
Love this game. Salamini's World at 25-1.
Like the Salaminis, Jamie Beggs looking for a second win today. This one was a bit of a stretch.
Tampa Storm, little interesting with a, I guess, even move.
My top choice, and this horse wins. Our friend Paul Verderosa will make history, sweeping the card.
Brad Cox just won with Saudi Crown. He's got Manhattan Chrome, the 7 who went by.
He could be the speed. I'm not enamored with him.
Took money against better.
He's going to come down. Yeah, he could be favored by Post.
Langwood, the first-time starter, still favored.
Who knows? You know, I mean, he's an Army mule. This connections, JKX, are always dangerous. Not a ton of pedigree, but one okay.
Whiskey Runner has shown speed.
Yeah, he's shown some speed, but that's about it.
And Ricardo Santana Jr. rider change on Always Packing on the outside.
Yep. improved last time, but needs to improve some more. This horse ran okay last time. I'm just disappointed the Fridge didn't run. Were you a big William the Refrigerator Perry fan?
Loved Refrigerator Perry.
The greatest. Loved that.
We had a chance to talk to Jim McMahon on the program.
That's right.
A few weeks
we did.
back.
I'm not a big football fan, but I followed football more back then. I think that Bears team that won the Super Bowl with McMahon and all those guys, that's got to be one of the greatest teams in the history of the game.
Certainly one of the best defense maybe we've
Incredible
ever seen.
Defense.
Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, as we'll take a look here at your favorite. First off the claim, Tinseltown was the beaten favorite last time, but in that last start, I thought kind of just was steady back at the beginning and then was on this wide chase throughout. So therefore, just against the racetrack, Kid Rich was able to wire the field that day. I've always written in my notes that this horse should be quicker, especially two back when he added the blinkers. I thought we would see that. Now, maybe for new connections, who knows? But it's not like Rob Atras, who had this horse before, is one that doesn't put speed into his horses. So I kind of get it given the last race, and looks fantastic, but I just don't know if we can trust this horse to kind of secure that early position. I'm gonna take number 8 in here at 9-2 is Tampa Storm, who does get a little bit of class relief, does not have much early speed, which I don't particularly like, but Jose Lezcano has given this horse a nice big lung opening warm up. And I just thought another one against the track on a gold rail day just looked the best. Honestly, physically, he has a good size to him, excellent flesh overall, and just like the fact that Jose is being aggressive with him out there on the racetrack. Now, Manhattan Chrome, he is one that reacted severely to the kickback in his first start because he broke with the early leaders. But when one crossed over in front of him, he threw out the anchor and backpedaled through the field that day. The problem, though, is that while this is a significant drop in class, he is just not much horse. I know they paid a good bit for him, relatively speaking. As a yearling, he just gives the impression that he never grew. As we'll also take a look here at your, tepid favorite at number 8, Languid, making his first start. Yes, Army Mules hit at 27% with his first time starting, 3-year-olds and up. This guy looks pretty fit. He just looks like a start would be beneficial, just to kind of tuck up, come up over his top line a bit. Has been pretty professional, maybe just a touch, bewildered. He's not super aggressive or super sharp for this debut, at least of what I've seen from him so far, but he does fit nicely with this crew. We'll see if he can run to the money that he's been taking. Greg?
And just as Maggie throws it back to us, the 7 becomes the favorite, Manhattan Chrome for Brad Cox.
I'm not surprised. It's really funny. Languid is a very funny name for a horse because here's the definition of languid. Displaying or having a disinclination for physical exertion or effort, slow and relaxed.
Not how you want your horse to be.
Very chill, right? It's a good way to have it, a disposition to have. I don't have that disposition, but others do. But it's probably not a great disposition for a horse. And I wonder if one of the reasons they named that is the horse is a little languid. I don't know. I love the name. I love the word. It's a great word, but it's a funny name for a horse.
Well, Manhattan Chrome with a race under his belt, though, the 7 right now favored. Did get pinballed a little bit out of the gate on both sides in that debut.
He did. I didn't think it mattered a lot. A friend of mine thinks he's going to be the speed in this race and makes him dangerous. It is a big drop down, but man, they paid $200,000. This horse has some pedigree, and they're giving up awfully quickly. I like Tampa Storm. I like the 2 Tinseltown. I thought they were the 2 horses in this race.
There's the favorite, Manhattan Chrome. Those silks of Robert LaPenta. Had some big moments, including a Travers winner. This one, the mom started 3 for 3, produced Downtown Mischief, who started 3 for 3, including a stakes win. This one is not quite as fortunate with that debut. We'll see if better things to come here in the drop down in class and start number 2. Chris Griffin, the finale on this Aqueduct card.
Always Packin. Always Packin. Goes in. All set. Solomon's World broke with early speed. Right to the outside, here comes Manhattan Chrome to challenge. Manhattan Chrome is up by a half length, now extends the margin. Back to second, Solomon's World. At the rail, here comes Richie's Love. Is going to get shut off here as Manhattan Chrome gets over to the inside. Always Packins in the purple silks now takes second. Whiskey Runners in that early mix is there in fourth. Also moving up on the far outside, here comes Tampa Storm. Dropping back quickly with Solomon's World, is now in tandem with Same Old Story. Towards the back end of the field is Charlie Charmer with Tinseltown and the trailer, Languid. 23.25 for that pressured opening quarter mile at the rail, Manhattan Chrome. In between horses, always packing, and here comes Tampa Storm with that rush. Now re-rallying, here comes Solomon's World, who's back for more. Drop back on the turn, but they reach the top of the stretch, and Tampa Storm is trying to kick away. Richie's Love has run nowhere to go, just got shut off there as Manhattan Chrome is back in the fight. Manhattan Chrome to the inside, Tampa Storm, Richie's Love, and Solomon's World on the grandstand side. Any one of these four, Manhattan Chrome, Tampa Storm, Richie's Love trying to re-rally. Manhattan Chrome looked defeated, but came back and won it. Manhattan Chrome over Richie's Love, then came Tampa Storm. Flying on late was Languid to finish fourth in 1 minute 13 and 4.
Manhattan Chrome dropping class. Brad Cox, Manny Franco, Robert LaPenta Silks get the win.
First looked left for dead top of the stretch as Tampa Storm looked like was going to give the sweep to my man Paul. And still, 7 of 8. I don't care if a lot of them were short prices. It is not an easy thing to do, so a tip of the cap to him. But a gutsy performance coming back on for Manny Franco on the inside. And we talk about it a lot. And I'm not saying other riders give up, but Manny, he is such a strong rider. And I think if we were to look at, not only does Manny seem to lead in New York, because he rides here all year long, also in wins. I bet you he leads the year in comeback wins like this. Horses, that looked like they were beaten that came back on to get the money. Because Manny is a very, very strong rider who manages to get in the window. And a friend of mine was right, and I was wrong. I did not like Manhattan Chrome.
7-2. The last two races on this card, 4-1 on that Speedster. What's up, bro? And now 7-2 on this horse. Wow.
And Languid was a little bit languid.
Yeah, he was. Well named. 7-1-6-8. Manhattan Chrome with a drop down in class for Brad Cox. The victory here. Well, the prices when we come back. We'll take a timeout. When we return, news on a new series you won't want to miss. Partnership with New York Racing Association and Woodbine in the Empire Trillium series. We'll tell you all about it next.
And they're off at the new Belmont Park.
September 18th, and obviously, you know, we have Saratoga to look forward to, but this is right around the corner. All of horse racing, very excited about this incredible new tribute to the sport that we're set to unveil.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great getting back to Belmont. You know, it's been hard for the horsemen, obviously, having to ship over here for the better part of 4 years. Hard for all of them, and getting to a beautiful new plant. And listen, a lot of us have a lot of love for both here, but also the old Belmont, but it was a dinosaur. And you've got to learn to adapt to the times. And one of the things that racing has struggled with was adapting to the times. And this is going to be a great modern plan, an opportunity to really move forward with racing in New York, and a lot to look forward to. And we're already starting to put some things in place for racing.
Such as a Breeders' Cup.
Yes, for
and
sure.
another program we're going to tell you about in just a moment. But this is a look at the renderings. Again, September 18th, opening day. I'm sure if you're in the area, do what you can to be part of it. It's going to be a special afternoon to unveil this brand new facility. It is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, attendance is going to be a bit limited the first until we get the whole building open, which will happen in the spring of 2027. But I don't know exact numbers. It might be 8,000 people. I'm not exactly sure the numbers. Starting off, we're hoping to have Sovereignty running in the Grade 1 Jock Club Gold Cup will be that day. Just going to be a very exciting time for racing here, and looking forward, so forward to seeing the new track and being there as well, Greg.
And in partnership with Woodbine, the Empire Trillium Series. 14 race program of stakes races restricted to horses foaled in New York or Canada worth $3.2 million. So between December and February, 8 stakes races on the 1 mile Tapeta course here in New York. And then we head north to Woodbine for an additional 6 stakes races, 2 on the turf, 2 on Tapeta, in April and July of 2027.
I love this, a cooperative effort with 2 similar surfaces, and we're certainly hoping to get a lot of horses. You've got that December 26th, we come back from the break, you've got those 4 races, and it's a great way to cooperate with somebody else, the New York breds against the Ontario breds, but also cooperating with the track that has a similar type program. And, you know, our hope, of course, is that a lot of participation during the winter on the Tapeta course will come from Woodbine. You know, there's been a lot of success, a lot of talk about well Turfway's done it, and I think that's great. The thing about Turfway is their purses are terrific if you're a Kentucky bred. If you're not a Kentucky bred, you're not competing for the same kind of money, and I think it'll be a different situation. So look, it's worked well at Turfway, and I don't want to ever knock our racing, and there's no bigger homer than me. But the winter racing has struggled here, let's be honest. I mean, you're seeing the product, smaller fields, tough to fill 8 race cards, and the hope is it got to be better and to get something new and to try something new. And also we'll use the Tapeta course as well for races coming off the turf.
certainly going to help weather-wise, too.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I'm up for the challenge. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a big fan of synthetics. You have more experience than I do, having been out in California for those years, but I'm up for the challenge of something, and I think we need to do something to try to revitalize the winter program around here because, frankly, it's just not working that well.
Yeah. Going to close out this card here in New York, Manhattan Chrome with the win. Plenty more coming up, though, at Oaklawn, so don't turn that channel. Manhattan Chrome, Brad Cox, Manny Franco, Silks, the Catholic boy, won a Travers in.
Yeah. This is like a Travers win. You know, this was today's Travers for Manny. The man never gives up.
Yeah, look, was forward, aggressive, then dropped out of it. Looked like his day was done. Not the case. 7-1-6. And modest returns today. And again, shout out to your partner today on Talking Horses. 7 wins from 8 races.
Not an easy thing to do, you know. I had 8 of 10 once in Saratoga, once, with 2 second choices winning, and Paul had 7 of 8 today, and even like the 1 was his second choice in there. Terrific job of handicapping.
Well
Shorter
done.
price or not, it's tough to put them all together. So a big tip of the hat to Paul for his job well done today.
More from Oaklawn. We're 5 minutes away, race 8. When we come back, Stiglitz back in action off a monster effort back on January 3rd.
Drain the Clock will win and win by as much as he wants.
Drain the Clock will bound home the winner. Drain the Clock, Jockey's Warrior, Drain the Clock by a head.
$270,000 in the back.
$250,000.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets. Join analysts Matthew DeSantis and Kaylee Shapiro on the road to the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. Get picks and analysis for all the prep races and gain insight into promising contenders on the trail to the Derby and Oaks. That and more on the Naira Bets YouTube channel. The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com.
The day is here when legends are made and anything is possible. The 2026 Arkansas Derby, where the prize is $1.5 million and a shot at glory at the Kentucky Derby.
Here's Sandman threatening to run a big one. And Sandman, he's run his A race and he gets a confidence booster heading to Kentucky.
Come witness history. Plan your stay today at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. We're just a few minutes away from race 8 here at Oaklawn Park, and it is a really good, hard-hitting 6-furlong allowance race. And Megan, we have a 3 to 5 shot in here in number 1, Stiglitz, who's coming off a 107 buyer figure. He ran 108.4. He's got speed.
He sure does, and on paper it appears that 107 was a bit of an outlier to what he had been running in the past. That 107, I believe, no mistake, but I believe it's one of the fastest figures we've seen of this entire year. We're talking about the Knightsbridges of the world, so very fast. And I wonder, I was talking to Phil Diamato's assistant here at Oaklawn, and looking at him last time, he's got a lot of leg to him. Almost feels like they were trying to figure this horse out. And as they shared with me, that it really seems, Meg, he does not want to go a step beyond 6 furlongs.
Well, certainly the way he ran. And his last 2 races were good. I mean, I thought the November 27 try at Churchill was his kind of coming out party. But last time he took his game to another level. Now, he is controlling things on the front end. He is fast. I feel like he's going to have some company up front. I don't think he's going to get any easy rides today.
I don't either. Last time out, I find he was able to get a bit more of a comfortable lead. He was pressured a bit that day, but he was able to just draw off and be much faster. We shall see. I think Lindsay is going to be forwardly placed. The number 4 has, to me, as much speed as the number 1 Stiglitz. And then, of course, you've got second ID, the number 8, who was all the way on his toes, very sharp in the paddock, gives every indication he's going to be forwardly placed as well. But I know we both like the number 2 Vital Mind.
Well, he came out of the same race with Stiglitz. Stiglitz running this very fast figure, and he did beat Vital Mind 6.5 lengths. I just wonder if he's, not going to get enough pressure that maybe Vital Mind can kind of turn the tables on him. Vital Mind did come back and win. He's by Into Mischief, by the Into Mischiefs. You could tell the Into Mischiefs. He looks like his sire. And I just thought maybe potentially he gets the right setup.
He's gorgeous. He's robust, stout. He's very much a sprinter out of a Grade 1 winner, and she's a Julie who did so routing. So on paper, it seems as though he wants to go longer, but he does look like he wants this shorter distance. He's a lightly raced individual. To me, he's got the ceiling, right? I don't know if we've found the bottom of him yet. I'm excited to see him do so. He's got some competition today, but I find he also has the right running style to sit back, let them do the work on the front end, and come running late. We'll see if he does get outrun by Stiglitz again, but I always like to see these kinds of horses like Stiglitz do it again.
Do it again, and do it probably with some pace pressure. Horse that I'm a little bit interested in. You and I both landed on the 2. We're picking the 2. But a horse that I've watched train with Ron Moquett, his conditioner, is number 7, El Quesabe. TriStar Farm, the Lestredo family, they've been doing really good work. Chance Moquett is their stable manager. This horse is already a Grade 1 winner on turf, Grade 1 placed on dirt. And watching him train, I really think he's going to run a good race, although 6 furlongs might be a bit short for him.
Seems like a sharpener for sure, with bigger things to come. He comes off a very precipitous layoff. We haven't seen him since December of 2024. That was back in Argentina, and I agree with you. I thought he looked fantastic in the paddock. He looks fit for the task. I always have my question marks, considering he's from South America. We don't quite know who he is just yet, but I also have my qualms sometimes with Ron Moquett runners off the layoff, but he looks fantastic, Meg. And you've mentioned to me off camera that was one where they kind of had to figure him out a little bit in the morning.
Yeah, I was with Ron, and he was saying how he'd been a little bit tricky when he first got here, trying to train him, get him to do things properly, but that he had really started to come around and train better and more focused. So I just thought he was a little bit interesting. We're both on the 2 Vital Mind. Stiglitz, we were talking with his connections right here by the track apron, and they were saying if he backs up what he did last time, their next objective is the Count Fleet, the main sprint stakes here at the meet. And if he runs anything close to his last one, he certainly is going to stamp his ticket.
He sure is. And quickly, though, his co-owner, Mark Martinez, we were also talking about how he has claimed 3 Grade 1 winners. Let's see if he has another stakes winner in the pipeline.
Well, good at the claim box. They're loading up a professional group here. Matt Dinnerman, he'll have your call.
Group 1 competitor in South America, El Quesabe, coming off a layoff today for Ron Moquett. El Quesabe about to go in the gate. One of them a little bit stirred up in there. That's the 4 Lindsay, but he settles down. Second ID to the outside post. Here's second ID. We're ready to go. And we're off. Uneventful beginning. Second ID won the start. Lindsay's moving up alongside to come and challenge with Sir Wellington. Invulnerable right behind them. Stiglitz down on the rail, firing forward on the fence and moving up level 3rd. Now coming after Lindsay, who has a narrow lead here. Stiglitz to the inside, a half length back, a clear second. We come back to El Quesabe at the back with Vital Mind approaching the far turn. Lindsay half length in front. Stiglitz right there to the inside as they go into the turn. They're rip-roaring on the lead. 21-2, that first quarter mile. They're sizzling. Stiglitz inside goes to a noselead, and Lindsay is under pressure in second. Gap of 2. Second ID's gotten a good trip 3rd. Creeping in 3 wide. Gap of 5 to the others. They all need to pick it up as they come to the top of the lane. Lindsay reclaims the lead. Stiglitz inside. Back in 3rd now as second ID's coming on after Lindsay in the final furlong. Lindsay on top. Second ID outside trying to get by him. Second ID, Lindsay side by side coming to the 16th. Linzer game. Second ID, now a nose behind Linzer. Linzer still with the upper hand. Second ID's right there. These two in a slugfest. Second ID on the outside in a photo with Linzer. Stiglitz third, Vital Mind fourth.
And in an exciting, thrilling stretch duel, I'm not sure if it was the 8th second ID or number 4 Linzer, who Linzer put away Stiglitz, who faced intense pressure, had no response, but Linzer was in that battle every step of the way, and he was in the photo there with second ID, the 8 horse. I kind of feel like second ID might have got the edge very, very late.
Very game between two horses. Linzer, to me, did the better of the running. He was pressured there with Stiglitz, but the number 8 second ID was not far behind. Right there, tracking kind of towards the front end of that group as well. Stiglitz didn't really quite have the response he did last time, but gosh, what a way for Bob Young, number 8 second ID we see in front of us, has been promoted to your winner there. He got his first win of the meet in a pretty exciting fashion.
Got it done the right way. This horse has already shown that he's not a shy of a fight. He fought last time, came up second best. Well, this day it was his day under Tyler Bacon, who was last year's leading apprentice jockey here. And it just shows you, listen, Stiglitz obviously has a lot of ability, but it's a little different when you're under that kind of pressure. I say it all the time, right? You know, a lot of boxers can throw a punch. Not every boxer can take a punch. He ran well, but maybe some more seasoned, tough rivals here, and it was second ID at 4-1, your third choice, who gets it done.
And this horse drew better. He was stuck on the inside for his last 2 races, and it finally was able to kind of trip out on the outside of those speeds late. And to me, that kind of gave him the upper hand when it mattered most in the final stages.
Really does underscore how that outside post just allows a horse a little bit more breathing room, right, to get into their rhythm. Boy, we've seen several photos, some great racing going on here at Oaklawn Park today.
Incredible race. I think you'll certainly have stakes repercussions from this tough, salty allowance group, and just what a way. This is kind of the last of the meat of this card, but it's been a tremendous Thursday of racing here at Oaklawn.
Yeah, anytime you have photo finish after photo finish, especially if once in a while you could come out on the right side of those photo finishes.
4-1 over 10-1, and a race that we thought was a 2-horse race, but not necessarily those 2 horses.
Well, second ID gets it done. Tyler Bacon for Bob Young. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to roll into a little bit of turf paradise action as well.
Back on our Thursday coverage on Fox Sports 2, and we head to Turf Paradise. Race 5 is coming up here. 5 furlongs, $4,000 condition. Claiming race for fillies and mares, 4 and up, which have not won 2 since September the 5th of last year. The condition here is Bango's Heat to start off the post parade.
Bango's Heat would have to improve immeasurably. That's why he's 34-1. This race was really changed. The 6 scratch took a lot of speed out and a Contender.
Cocktail Princess with speed.
I think it helps the 2 because she does look like the inside speed, though. Is she good enough?
Here's the Great Haynes, who will get easier today.
There may be a Haynes that's great, but it's not this one, but not impossible. She'll be getting a good trip behind the pace.
8-year-old mare who's won 6 times in her career.
A lot of seconds.
Here's BC Choo Choo.
Just looks a little slow.
Double-digit odds. Next door, Icy Cape's been off since June of 2023.
Last ran on my birthday, actually, almost 3 years ago. And
10-year-old mare.
A long time since she's run competitively.
I'm not sure. I've never seen a 10-year-old mare run.
Off a 3-year layoff? I've seen 10-year-olds run. I've just never seen them off 3-year layoffs. You think mares, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't answer that.
9 to 5. Trouble in Paradise, the favorite.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the perception being this horse is going to get a lot of pace to run at. I mean, I didn't think this horse should be favored. Did you? I thought the 7 should be a shorter price.
Yeah, we skipped over Hot Jammies. We should mention coming off a win gate to wire last start.
I mean, it was a big improvement for her. It was 4.5 furlongs, and today's 5. I don't know.
Bet $75 on Oaklawn Park and Turf Paradise, Andy. And I'm going to give you a $15 bonus in your Naira Bets account.
Is that today or this year?
Opt in, take advantage. You out there playing at NairaBets.com.
If you're playing both those tracks, and, I hope you opted in already because Oaklawn, you got only 1 race left, but Turf Paradise, midway through their card. Looks like a breezy day there, doesn't it?
It does.
Looking at those palm trees, I'm a little jealous.
Beautiful out there. Second ID in a thriller down the stretch. Holding off an incredibly stubborn Linzer. For the victory here, Tyler Bacon for Bob Young.
I actually bet this horse, but I got lucky to win because I think this horse was second best to Linzer. A very nice effort by both of them. The pace was quick. This horse broke on top. A good ride by Tyler, sort of taking off the pace. But Linzer did all the dirty work. The favorite who broke a step slow, rushing up inside. And Linzer did not want to be denied. This was an excellent race down the stretch between these two. But second ID got it done, but I'm not sure the second ID was best. And I said having bet on second ID.
And Stiglitz off that incredibly impressive 107 Beyer win back on January 3rd. Let's see, it was in trouble early from that inside.
Well, he just didn't break that well, but we said it going in. There was going to be speed outside of him. And, there's a big difference between controlling on the front end and having to force the pace from the inside. I think still Stiglitz could be okay, but much different circumstances. And not total 1-number horse, but close.
Vic Stauffer with the call. Here's race 5, Turf Paradise.
They're at the post. They're off. Trouble in Paradise wins the break and goes to the front from Cocktail Princess in second. Hot Jammies breaks third with the Great Haynes fourth. BC Choo Choo is passed by Bango's Heat, and the trailer is Icy Cape. Cocktail Princess into the far turn leads by a length and a half from Trouble in Paradise in second. 2 lengths to the Great Haynes and Hot Jammies. Third and fourth and about 4 from the front. They are 3.5 in front of Bango's Heat. BC Choo Choo has 9 lengths to make up, and Icy Cape is the distant trailer, and Cocktail Princess is the in-command leader. Cocktail Princess to the top of the stretch has built up a solid 3.5 length lead from Trouble in Paradise in second. Hot Jammies is third, then the Great Haynes. Cocktail Princess has a final furlong to get, and she still leads by 2. Trouble in Paradise is closing the gap in the center of the racetrack. Got a chance to get Cocktail Princess. Here's Trouble in Paradise to level out and take charge. Trouble in Paradise beat Cocktail Princess. Hot Jammies third. Bango's Heat finished fourth.
Trouble in Paradise running down Cocktail Princess, who looked like she had this race wrapped up.
Well, off of 2 straight races at 4.5 furlongs, that last half a furlong proved to be a little too arduous for Cocktail Princess, who looked home, and Trouble in Paradise able to run her down. Basically, it was close to a merry-go-round, but it was 8-2-7, as nobody made an impact besides those top 3.
9-year-old mare with the victory.
Getting it done. Coming in off the claim for a trainer who is fairly strong off the claim, 28% overall off the claim in the dirt.
You might have heard of this horse.
Who?
Reigning Horse of the Year, Sovereignty. An announced comeback. Looks like it may be in Hot Springs. We'll tell you all about it when we come back from this timeout on our Fox Sports 2 coverage.
Prince of Monaco's Too Good for Moose, an impressive winner of the best pal. Miramondi's all hot, but Prince of Monaco Too Good.
Prince of Monaco, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Some horses are remembered, other horses are passed down like an heirloom. He's the kind of horse that lives in stories, each better than the one before, hardened like a diamond and equally brilliant. He ran 3 straight years at the highest level, and he himself was elite.
Putting on a show in the Preakness. Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be National Treasure. National Treasure would not be denied. National Treasure wins the Pegasus World Cup. In the blink of an eye has opened up a 5-length advantage. It's a 1-horse race. National Treasure.
There's a brilliance in the way he moved and a tenacity in how he finished. By quality road with a wealth of family, and he raced like he knew it. National Treasure, the key to quality.
Here comes Sovereignty now. He's let loose with those big, powerful strides. They're in the final furlong, and we are witnessing greatness. Sovereignty pouring it on. And for the first time since 1995, we have a Kentucky Derby, Belmont and DraftKings Travers winner as Sovereignty rolls home to win by more than 8 lengths. Congratulations to Belmont. There's your Travers.
Reigning Horse of the Year, Kentucky Derby, Belmont and Travers winner, Sovereignty eyeing the Oaklawn Handicap April 18th for his return as a 4-year-old.
I expected him to be going to the Ali Sheba, but I guess Mott and the connections want to run Baeza there, so he'll be going to Oaklawn, and, you know, it'll be interesting to see. I know the connections have talked of going to Dubai with Magnitude, but given the circumstances, could well be set up for he'll run against Sovereignty, and I would think you want to take a shot at him in his first race back if you're going to take a shot,
Yes.
right? And he's awfully good, and we'll be excited to see him run, and we'll have it here on the show.
Tremendous to have a horse of that caliber come back for his 4-year-old campaign.
No, it's great. It's good for the game, you know, and I always regretted that Bernardini, for the same connections, didn't come back as a 4-year-old because I thought he could have been, you know, I think he was an exceptional horse. And I actually think he and Sovereignty are very similar in their talents, given, and that's a huge compliment to Sovereignty as well as Bernardini, and I'm thrilled to see him as a 4-year-old. If he moves forward, he's going to be very hard to beat, but I think Baeza and Journalism, I'm looking forward to seeing them too.
Pretty big news as we send it back to Mig and Megan with the reigning Horse of the Year set to make his return right there.
It really is big news. I know I'm excited about it. Anytime we get to cover world-class horses like a Sovereignty, it just makes our job so much easier.
It does. We've been spoiled by the horse flesh we've gotten to see, including the likes of Sovereignty. It was either the Oaklawn Handicap for him or the Alashiba. And honestly, good news for him in terms of just the readiness and kind of giving Belmont the indicator that he's ready to go a bit earlier over the strip for the very first time. And he was such an impressive individual last year. We've got champion after champion, nitrogen running tomorrow. What a season so far here, Meg.
Well, you know, listen, the purse structure here is phenomenal. It's going to lure top-class horses and connections. And the comprehensive series of races they have in each division really lends itself to continuity for a trainer. You can really kind of plan and map out a horse's schedule.
He was the type last year, a Sovereignty, that seemed like he would just be an absolute beast at 4. So privilege for him to be able to come back now, training down at Payson Park, and seems to be doing well. But some Saffie Joseph invaders. He's got 2 strong older horses. And Skippy Longstocking, we kind of mentioned off camera that he decided he did not want to take that flight to California in that big cap.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to get on a plane, head out to California. He was just not happy with it. He didn't feel like flying that day, and I don't know how he feels. There's days I don't feel like flying either, but he's just a tough veteran. He just shows up. When he runs his A race, he's tough.
Emotional for the team for him to be able to get this Grade 1 win, and they believed in this horse. He just hasn't quite been to that caliber, and winning the Pegasus was kind of his coming out right. A Barrio running off of a scratch in the Breeders' Cup, and to me, they're just going to have to come catch Sovereignty. We'll see how the older horse division shakes out. Perhaps maybe Magnitude stays here. We'll see how those plans materialize, but I'm just very excited to see the return of our horse of the year, and a lot of horse flesh right now in the Belmont barn.
Well, and I also agree with Andy, though. I think we've got a really good group of 3-year-olds coming back at 4-year-olds, and some of them are going to mature and develop a little bit differently. I think we're really in for a big treat in the old horse division this year, guys.
Some very big races still to come out in Hot Springs, certainly on the roads to the Derby and the Oaks. But yeah, circle April 18th. I think everyone in the sport will be with who it was just announced is going to be returning that day.
Anytime you get the horse of the year to come back, but much like last year where you got Sierra Leone, Forever Young, and Fierceness all coming back and meeting eventually in the Breeders' Cup Classic, it's especially good for the game. It's good to have these horses come back, and I think one of the things that makes it hard in the game, and I understand why owners take money. I'm not going to criticize somebody who puts a lot of money in the game for taking the money to retire their horses. Their job is not necessarily to appease the public. They have to do what's right for them, and you take that money and you reinvest it in the game, as so many of them do. It's a good thing, but you want the stars to stick around, and we've got a lot of good horses coming back this year.
And that particularly a horse
the
who
big horse
did something incredibly rare in this sport. Only, I believe, one of 4 horses to pull off that Derby Belmont Travers triple.
Yeah, it takes an exceptional horse to do it. I mean, many people, I'm not really one of them. I mean, do I wish we had a Triple Crown winner? I suppose. I don't get that caught up in that stuff, and I think the connection of a right to do what they think is right. The Triple Crown does work well, and I wish he had run the Preakness. Probably would have won the Triple Crown, but he did what he did, and he ran his races, and I'll tell you what, disagreeing with Bill Mott, especially his handling of the good horses, that's a little bit foolish at this point.
Back at Turf Paradise, Cocktail Princess run down by Trouble in Paradise.
Cocktail Princess needed a cocktail at the 16th ball.
She looked home free at this point. Confirmed speed of the field, but as you said, used to going the last couple of starts 4.5 furlongs, and that last half a furlong caught up to her here.
You wouldn't think that 4.5 to 5 would be a stretch, but it seems like it was in this case because she just looked home.
Hailed her.
Just stopped. Almost got beat for second.
8-2-7. As Trouble in Paradise returns $4.80 for the win. But Juan Pablo Silva Barn off the claim with a victory.
$4.80 in the win. Looks like the horses ran in order of their odds, 7-5, 3-2, 5-2.
Race 6, 5 furlongs as well. 4,500 claiming race, non-winners of 3 life.
Who do you like in the 6th on Saturday at Turf Paradise, Greg? Greg's getting a little head.
I did get a little jump. I actually do have a horse for you in the last.
Really?
Yes, I do.
The last on Saturday. Well, I don't know if I can wait that long, Greg. You want to give it out of the show?
I actually love the rail horse in the last.
Last race on Saturday at Turf Paradise. Yes. Greg likes the horse in the rail. Don't forget, okay? You can thank him later.
Unbreakable Trust, though, right now taking a lot of money in this current race, as is Pocoyo.
I thought Pocoyo was the horse to beat.
All right, we'll get back to that in a moment. More from Hot Springs as well when we come back 7 minutes away from race 9 at Oaklawn.
Most horses retire at 4, 5, 6 years old, but they can live to be 30. Every state that races needs an aftercare foundation. It was all started by Bill Walmsley, so we got together, got with Jennifer Hoyt, we got a website, we got a Facebook page, and we could rehabilitate and retire the thoroughbreds that have raced at Oaklawn.
We started off very slow. I think we maybe had 6 horses the first year we were in the program. Overall, we've probably retired and rehomed over 50 horses. We do ask that every owner that donates a horse into the program donate the horse with $1,000. That just helps care for the horse for the first month or so that we have the horse in our care. Every year we do get some good funding, but it's amazing how quickly that goes during the summer and fall when we're taking care of about 25 to 30 horses. At the end of the 22 race meet, we implemented the Ring the Bell program. Ron Moquette brought it to us. He provided the bell. And so that April, that last month of that race meet, we gave owners the opportunity to ring the bell every time they won a race. And we raised almost $9,000 in just that month. It's now something that they look forward to doing. It's a sense of pride. I'm gonna ring the bell today because that means they won a race. 2 years ago, the HBPA installed an equicizer at Oaklawn, and that's been a huge fundraiser. Trainers pay $10 per horse every time they put it on that equicize wheel, and all that money comes to our program. Each horse has its own adoption fee. We usually set that based on what the horse will be doing in his second career. It ranges from between $500 and $1,500.
These horses have such a great purpose. They want to do something. They want to be a little girl's horse. They want to be ridden. They want to trail ride. They want to event. They want to be a hunter jumper. They want to do something else. And it gives them an opportunity to live a long, prosperous, wonderful life outside the racetrack. But we need that resource everywhere so a person can responsibly retire their horse and have it taken care of.
Really love that initiative here at Oaklawn Park, started by Ron Moquette. You ring the bell, you make a donation to Thoroughbred Aftercare, retirement, and it's just been such a successful thing. And Megan, if you win a race, there's a lot of generosity of spirit. You're kind of excited to ring that bell.
You sure are. And speaking of Ron Moquette, he's got a horse in here I know we're both interested in the number 9, Mr. Fahrenheit, who absolutely looks fantastic. A very flashy son of Upstart, who, to me, I'm pretty perplexed that this horse is still 5-1. We'll see how he continues to dip down, but getting to stretch out, I think he's going to be better doing so.
Looking at him from a physical perspective, you would feel like he'd stretch out effectively. I thought his last race was very useful. That was his first start against Arkansas Breds. He's back in with Arkansas Breds today, and he is by Upstart, where a lot of the Arkansas Breds are by stallions that stand in state, like Street Strategy. You see a lot of them. Mark Valesky, horses like this. But Upstart, pretty solid sire.
He's one of my favorite, I find, a value sire as you can get. And they usually are incredibly flashy and well-made, well put together, and oftentimes want to go the route of ground, which I do find. As I mentioned, he is going to appreciate going a bit up in tag, but I think he's perfect in this spot. But another horse I thought was kind of interesting was the number 2, Piercy Road, who has the experience. I mean, he's trying to break through for his 24th start, and it's tough to take these from a betting perspective, but I thought he made a pretty decent impression out on the track.
And he does have races, in his past that would make him competitive here. It's just hard for me to get past that 0 for 23. Will the, double dozen be the charm the 24th time?
Right. I know with the scratch of the 1 Willie Cuts, it kind of changed the complexion of this race there, a 2-1 morning line. And it was just hard for me to kind of look past the number 9. The number 7, Gray Taps, I thought had some speed, stretching out again. Thought he had the scope, but he just didn't really have a bunch of power from behind, which was my issue with him.
Yeah, he was a little bit keen last time, stretching out for the first time, and it's just hard for me to see him as the favorite. I honestly thought the 9 would be a shorter price, although he's now floated down to 9-2. What about the 5 horse taken on the run? He's stretching out for the first time. I thought his pedigree suggested more of a sprint type horse, but that race is good enough to be competitive here.
I'd agree with you on this sprint pedigree profile, and also the fact that he's kind of a rounder behind. He's a sturdier made individual, and to me, I find him a bit better shorter, but they've tried that numerous amounts of times. Maybe they're just trying to maybe throw something at the wall and see if it sticks with him in his 5th attempt.
And he is 5-2 at the moment. I guess he is your favorite at this juncture,
or
co-favorite, I should say, with the 7. Gray Taps from the Randy Morse barn. We both like the 9. Ron Moquette's barn, maybe not as many wins as he'd like, but his horses are starting to run better. 13 seconds, 14 thirds. A trainer can get a horse ready, then he's got to turn the keys to the car over to the jockey. So sometimes the fact that you're lacking wins doesn't tell the whole story. The horses are actually starting to run very well.
They really are. We'll see if he can meet the physical impression he gave us, but I'm going to run to my Naira Bets account and try to see if I can bet this horse.
Yeah, I already got in on the 9 horse. Mr. Fahrenheit, Keith Asmussen for Ron Moquette. The field is starting to load up. Look like they're loading up in an orderly fashion, and we'll send it up for the 9th and final time today from Oaklawn Park to Matt Dinnerman.
Taken on the run, post 5. Ballandine Storm in the gray, No Kid of Mine. No Kid of Mine coming up to the gate. Ballandine Storm, post 10. Two back, Free of Frost, and Yankapin to the outside. Live racing resumes tomorrow. 10 races on the docket, first post 12:30. We'll see you then. But for now, enjoy this nightcap. We're ready to go. And they're off in the finale. Mandatory Mission gets the first call of the race. Best Flat Out strides in front of him. He grabs the lead from Mandatory Mission. Great Taps going well early, taking second from Mandatory Mission as they scoot into the first turn run. It's going to be Best Flat Out to lead the charge here. A length in front. Great Taps on a hold, a bit keen, but is up to press the issue on the front end here. They open up 2. Golden City Street, he runs in third with Mandatory Mission. Mr. Fahrenheit parked outside of that pair. A gap of 2 to No Kid of Mine, the gray horse, with Yankapin. Then comes Taken on the Run towards the back of the field. Ballandine Storm, Free of Frost, they're next, and Piercy Road will have to pass them all and make up a dozen lengths as the 11 runners head down the backstretch. 9-1 shot. Best Flat Out makes play on the lead with Louis Q. A length and a half in front. Great Taps, more settled down, still on a hold. He's running in second. Golden City Street, 3 wide joining that one. He's making an early move to come and challenge Best Flat Out with a half mile to go. Gap of 2. Mandatory Missions come under a ride here. No Kid of Mine inside of him. Mr. Fahrenheit sent hard. He's 6 from the lead, not picking up the pace at this point under pressure. Piercy Road out of last, trying to make a move on the rail. He's about 7 behind with Taken on the Run, who's trying to mount a charge as well. Then Ballandine Storm, Yankapin, and Free of Frost as they approach the top of the lane. 3-way battle on the lead here. Great Taps between horses, hard ridden. Golden City Street outside. Best Flat Out down on the rail coming off the turn. Mandatory Mission right behind with Taken on the Run on the extreme outside as they come down the lane. Taken on the Run. Green, but going to the lead here, coming to the furlong pole. Taken by the Run, opening up on the competition late, and Taken by the Run is going to win it. Taken on the Run to win. One of them lost the rider at the quarter pole. There was one who went down there. But as they come to the wire, Taken on the Run wins over Mandatory Mission, No Kid of Mine, and Great Taps. We'll have a steward's inquiry. That's the 10-horse Ballandine Storm, who unseated the rider at the quarter pole.
And it was the 5-horse Taken on the Run, getting it done. A logical, one of the logical horses in here, and he wound up going off as your favorite. The public really honing in today on actually a lot of good selections. Public spot on.
They were spot on with this horse. I didn't love him as much. Coming out of that, I felt like it was the 3-back race at Lone Star that made him competitive. We did have a rider come off Mick, I believe, as track that they have apprehended the loose horse. But we'll continue to monitor this situation as we had. We also have a steward's inquiry up as well.
Yeah, it was the 10-horse Ballandine Storm, who looks like is fine up on his feet, was apprehended by the outrider. We'll get word about the rider, Serafin Carmona, as soon as we can. I can't see from our vantage point, but there is a steward's inquiry. Don't think it has anything to do with the winner, but certainly checking on that incident up by the quarter pole.
I kind of thought the number 5 Taken on the Run, Mig, wasn't maybe the picture of a horse that wanted to go longer, but I mean, wow, he dusted that field, and it seemed at the top of the lane, Mig, that it was anybody's game there for a moment.
Yeah, I thought a little bit disappointing with the horse that we like, Mr. Fahrenheit. He was off the bridle early under extreme pressure into the turn, just had no run, but Taken on the Run, I think he found the right group, first time on the stretch out, and gets it done for Brett Creighton. His second win of the meet.
His horses, I feel like, have maybe done a bit better in past years, but kind of finding a little bit better of a rhythm now, as I believe they're still kind of dealing with the situation on track. But the Swords Inquiry does affect our third and fourth place finishers, number 6 and the number 7.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick timeout. We'll see if the stewards can sort through the incident up at the quarter pole, and we'll be back with more racing here on America's Day at the Races.
Spine-tingling, jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring, Secretariat-like.
Race Lens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. Race Lens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Enhance your handicapping with AI Fast Facts, exclusively on NyraBets. Open your NyraBets app, click View Runner Details, and a stat-driven fact will appear for all U.S. Thoroughbred racehorses. Download the NyraBets app to start using Fast Facts today.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on our Fox Sports 2 coverage at Turf Paradise. Race 6, again 5 furlongs. Non-winners of 3 life the condition. $4,500 claiming tag, all for sale for that price. We both, wow, what's going on here? With Poco Yo, we both felt it's absolutely the one to beat. 7-2 right now. This one is the 2-5 favorite, Manzoni.
Yeah, I got a feeling this is going to change perceptibly by the time we get to the gate in here. I mean, this horse can win, but why is this horse an overwhelming favorite, by the way?
Extremely wicked big number next door.
Yes, this horse would be an upsetter. I agree, as would the 3. Though I'm not sure the 3 is supposed to be this big a price.
You're in a 48 buyer last start at the condition.
It's 1 point higher than the Manzoni ran last time. It was 2-5.
Here is Chicken Wing. 2 for 10 lifetime.
It's a funny name for a horse.
Does drop.
Has some back form. Second off a layoff.
Significant drop.
Yeah.
Alpine Sermon, big number as well.
Why are all these horses huge
This is
prices?
not making
it feels like
sense.
there's something weird. There's something weird about the 1 being this kind of favorite.
Unbreakable Trust.
Board is
comes
all
in from
skewed,
Los Alamitos.
right?
And here's Scopello.
Why is the 6-10 to 1? Scopello's a little tough to make.
Here's the one we felt was the one to beat, Poco Yo. Coming off a win last start. Claim, though.
He is the one to beat.
For a barn that's 36%, by the way. And then Stormcasting on the outside, almost 40-1.
Yeah, let me just let Poco Yo, just to go back. Off the claim on the dirt at Turf Paradise, 9 for 32, 28%, 241 ROI. Overall, 14 for 55, $1.88 ROI. I got to look at the board here. This is very strange.
So, Poco Yo in the double is favored.
Overwhelming favorite, and the 4 is the second choice. And a distant third choice is I don't think there's that much money in the pool, but it's like like somebody bet $4,000 or something. I honestly think somebody bet $5,000 to win on Manzoni.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, right?
$5,600, right?
Well, I mean, look at the win, okay? There's $5,600 to win, and there's $407 on the 2, and yet the 2 has more money to place and show than the 1 does. Wow.
Bizarre.
5 to 1 on Manzoni, and it skewed the whole board. It's got to mitigate a lot as we get closer. By the way, I know they had an inquiry at Oaklawn. I don't think it affected things. 5, 4, 6, 7 appears to be. They haven't made it official, but I think it's about to be, in case people are wondering.
8-5 favorite there.
I don't see any inquiry, so I'm thinking that there's no change, but don't hold me to it.
All right.
Hold Mitchell Vitus to it.
We'll get those prices to you when it becomes official.
I'm very curious to see what the final odds are at Turf Paradise. Very strange.
4-5 Manzoni, but still, I would gotta believe with the gates open, Poco Yo's your favorite. Vic Stauffer with the call. Here's race 6, Turf Paradise.
Song. They're at the post. Oh, no, they're not. Stormcat Song hasn't loaded yet. Stormcat Song drawn to the far outside. They're at the post. Chicken Wing a bit fractious. They're set. They're off. Pocoyo wins the break from Chicken Wing between horses. Alpine Sermon is close up. Seattle Breakout's in the mix, and so is Scopello. Stormcat Song is next. Then comes Manzoni, followed by, in the center of the racetrack, Alpine Sermon, and Unbreakable Trust is at the back of the pack, and Pocoyo is on top. Pocoyo leads Scopello by a length. These two have sprinted 4 lengths clear of Chicken Wing and Stormcat Song. Then comes Alpine Sermon. Seattle Breakout backs out. Between horses is Manzoni. Then comes Extremely Wicked, and the trailer is Unbreakable Trust, and the leader is Pocoyo. Pocoyo has a length in front, but here's Chicken Wing to challenge, and Pocoyo will be challenged by Chicken Wing, who's right alongside, and Chicken Wing puts his blue blinkers in front. Manzoni rides the rail, then to the outside Alpine Servant, but it's Chicken Wing in front. Late start charge from Stormcat Song. Chicken Wing wins. Chicken Wing beats Stormcat Song. Manzoni was third, maybe Extremely Wicked for fourth.
Chicken Wing, yeah, was in for 10,000 non-winners of 3 last start. Much easier company here. Rolls by Pocoyo.
Fast-paced it in Pocoyo, who couldn't, I don't even think he's got a part of the superfecta. As the 2-to-1 second choice Chicken Wing gets it done on the big drop down, Pocoyo ended up even money, and Manzoni ended up 3-to-1, and I think Manzoni was third coming up the fence. Is that maybe right? But never really threatened. That was a crazy bet, huh?
Second off a lengthy layoff for this horse. Weakened down the stretch in the comeback, not this time.
Big prep. This horse has back figs that blow the field out, and that's what happened today on the big drop. Nothing like a drop. And you got a better price than you should have because of the wild bet on the 1. Well, I'll put it this way. If they hadn't bet the 1, this horse, I mean, you've probably got a half a point higher than you would have gotten, which isn't bad.
Very close for third. May have come up the fence there, the 1, to steal it. Third place. Back at Oaklawn to close out the card.
Looked like the horse to beat on paper, and turned out to be the horse to beat for sure.
Ramon Vasquez for Brett Crichton.
Yep.
This 4-year-old taking on the run.
Getting it done.
Stretching out for the first time.
Saw a lot of logical results today, both here and at Oaklawn Park. This horse, a decisive winner, made 8-5, looked like an overlay. You could see this horse, you could see at the 3/8 ball, this horse was a winner when he started to move. And he was.
A long way back to mandatory mission. Easy win for the 8-5 favorite, $5.20 for the victory for Keen Thoroughbreds. But yeah, incredibly formful day here in New York and pretty formful out in Hot Springs as well.
Yes, very logical results.
We saw some good race. I mean, certainly Stouty Crown coming back was a highlight in the afternoon, and repelling that challenge from Ben Duke.
See if he's able to be competitive in some tougher spots. It's going to get a lot tougher for him. Ben Duke's a nice horse, but he's going to have to compete against some tough ones. And if they're thinking Oaklawn handicap, they may be reconsidering that.
I think a lot of people are thinking, where else can we go now? Yeah, with Sovereignty deciding that's going to be the comeback point. But as you said, first start back, that's the time to try and get him, right?
Absolutely. Why not take a shot? I mean, you know, they obviously want to win every race they run in. He may go undefeated, but I think it's going to be more competitive. You know, you think about journalism, and listen, Sovereignty showed his superiority, but I remember talking to Michael McCarthy, journalism's trainer in Saratoga, the night, I think it was the night of the Whitney, and he said, I'm just dying to have another shot at Sovereignty, and I'm sure it was frustrating for him, but you know, in March or February, journalism was the better horse. Now, Sovereignty improved a lot, but journalism had a very tough, arduous campaign. And I think with some time off, and he didn't run badly finishing 4th in the Breeders' Cup, I think with some time off, we could see a very good journalism this year. I'm hoping so. I'm a fan of Mike's. I want to see him do well. And I thought the connections were so game to run all the Triple Crown races as well.
No question about that.
I thought the Eclipse really deserved a lot of credit for that.
The campaign they
ran. A chance to have come back with a very big player this year.
Weekend stakes in New York. We got the Gander and Maddie May on Saturday. Maddie May, race 8, 1-turn mile, 3-year-old fillies. Excuse me, foaled in New York State. And Galinda putting that perfect record on the line for Miguel Clement. 2 for 2 coming off that Eastview win.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to give it out too early and hurt the price, but I've smoked this one out. And this one's right on top. Actually, my Saturday picks earlier are on the website, and I've got Galinda
You look at
right
this
on top.
field, it's tough to see anyone else taking that big of a jump, isn't it?
I agree, and she's been very good in both of her starts, so I think she's going to be tough to beat. I think this is a race I like the 4 second. Who's the 4? Victory Hall for Tom Morley. West Nutter speed in there could help soften things up, but it's going to have to change a lot of things if Galinda runs back the races she's run. She's been pretty good.
Indeed. I was at 7 furlongs, 9 1/4 length win. Rena's Revenge, Victory Hall behind her. They're going to try and tackle her again.
I do think Victory Hall will run well in here, but you don't run well enough to beat Galinda. Galinda shows up. She's just way the horse to beat. Both of the New York bred races have heavy favorites. Your horse is back in the other division, in the male division. That Dutrow horse? I can never pronounce his name. The horse that ran a 91 buyer that won by a pole. It's like the 4th race or something on Saturday.
Okay, well...
Scolo, what's his name?
Scapello.
Scapello, yeah, that horse that you loved him last time, and you were right.
Scolo's Folly.
Yes, Scolo's Folly.
Big weekend coming up as well. They touched on it briefly with the Azaria, and that means Nitrogen is back as we go back to Hot Springs.
Yeah, I mean, to get Nitrogen back again, she was very good in her comeback in the Bayakoa when, by all reports and from what we could see to our eyes, she was probably 75 to 80%. So there's potential here for another step forward in the Aziri.
She was coming in off of just the 3 works, had experienced some of the winter weather in the Hot Springs area, and then just came out and won for fun against a pretty talented foe in Nyerzuri, who came back to win the Trevista. As we take a look down memory lane, she just did it with such conviction, and to me, I think she's looked better than ever, even though she was carrying a bit more condition. I like to see her do so, Meg, just considering the fact that she had such a long, sustained campaign last year, and I think she's going to be the horse to beat yet again, right back in the Azeri.
You know, Mark Cassidy was quoted as saying that they weren't looking to start her this early in the year, but she was just so full of herself, so happy with that break, and this was a really nice comeback. I guess, you know, Mark's got some insurance in here, though, with Lacara, who, when she's good and she gets loose, she's very good.
I think the dynamics were quite odd in the way they played the Houston Ladies Classic last time out, where Lacara, her Mark Cassie, was exhausted with no reason to be. She's been training very well, a tale of 2 Grade 1 winners out of the NYRA circuit over the summer. I, for one, think Lacara is going to be better for it with more aggressive tactics, getting to the front end and making them come and catch her, Mig.
Yeah, should be a good addition here of the Azeri, guys. Back to you.
I want to make a head-to-head bet with Meg. I'm going to have to text her later and tell her
You're not a Lacara
I'll
fan.
take a lot of horses again. I think Lacara had a great run, but she did it when things went her own way, and I don't want to take away from her good performances, but man, I'm interested to see if she can show another competitive race, because she just doesn't seem competitive in the end.
That's coming up on Saturday coverage. Hope you enjoyed our program. We're back tomorrow, 3 Eastern start time on Fox Sports 2. We will see you then. It was Jolly Jolene and a tight finish in the 6th to break her maiden. And here in New York on a very formful day in South Ozone Park, What's Up Bro eventually got to the front and kept on rolling for a 4-1 rare upset on this Thursday card. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 Eastern.